You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time.
Welcome everyone to beautiful Windsor, Ontario for the start of the OFC playoffs between the #1 seeded Windsor Fretmen and the #4 seed GTA Grizzlies on Wheat Digital Productions. I'm Justin Prince alongside of the booth tonight as Badi Quads as we get all set to go for the start for the quest for the 2019 OFC Championship for the Fretmen and Grizzlies here, Badi.
Yeah, you're looking at the Fretmen who, over the last couple weeks, have earned their right to be the home field team for the balance of the OFC Conference playoffs. And ultimately, this is the game that they wanted in the first round, Justin. You don't want to see London or Hamilton too early. Those two teams are capable of upsetting anyone. This is the game you want, not to dismiss the GTA Grizzlies, but clearly the Windsor Fretmen are the ones that are on top of this league.
7-1 record for the Fretmen in regular season play. GTA 2-6 as we're moments away from the start of today's action. Today's referees is the lead official of Chris Patton along with the umpire Trevor Hayes. Bill Ganton, the head linesman. Line judge is John Dutson. The site judge Bruce Carter. Gary Moore is the back judge with the field judge being Bruce Carter. That's a look at your officials for today's matchup. Alex Jemmy, the field judge. But we're moments away from today's starting action. It's going to be a heck of a game today as the Fretmen look to build upon a lot of regular season success, multiple award winners, and they look to try and finish this off with a championship quest. One thing to note, the 2 and 3 seeds matchup was yesterday afternoon where the London Beefeaters beat the Hamilton Hurricanes 17-8. That advanced them to the OFC Finals. The winner of this game you're about to see kick off will compete against London for the OFC Championship.
And of course, Justin, if it is Windsor, it's right back here next week as the Beefeaters have to travel. And if somehow GTA does indeed win, GTA will go to London for the conference final.
Moments away from the start of today's action as both special teams units get ready to take the field here. And of course, for those that have seen the Fretmen throughout the season, they know there's been a dynamic quarterback duel of Colton Allen and Daniel Mayu. That will be tough to stop if you're the Grizzlies, which allowed near 90 points combined in their two matchups against the Fretmen in regular season play.
Yeah, and I do think that the 90 was a little low on the number. The Fretmen early on, especially the early season game, the first matchup, they were just working through some identity, figuring out who, how, where, what they were trying to do with their offense. Now they have that in tune. Two quarterbacks quite capable. If the Fretmen take care of the ball, you'll see the Fretmen's offense, dynamic offense, likely explode. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to get close to 50, 60 points in this game. And again, not to dismiss the Grizzlies, the Fretmen are rolling right now.
The Grizzlies getting all set to go. They'll kick things off. Fretmen will receive for the first half. Grizzlies will receive for the start of the second. As we're moments away from the start of today's action. Back to return. 3 return men for the Fretmen. They're led by Braden McCraney up the middle on the far side. Cody Holmes near side. We'll see returning Marcus Cooper. And it looks like they're going to go for a different type of kickoff for today's matchup as we're underway for the OFC semifinals. McCraney returns it from inside the 15, across the 30, cuts across the 40, juking his way around the 50, brought down just shy of the opponent's 40. And massively great field position to start today for the Fretmen.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, the one thing you don't want to do is kick right down the middle of the field. Too many teams can set their return. You want to be able to pin them to a hash, maybe outside the numbers. Just a kick that was too easy for McCraney, and he's such a talented ball carrier. He easily got across midfield, and like you said, set them up with great field position.
Kick and bangs A scratch for today's semifinal matchup for the Grizzlies was the top placeholder and punter in the league. But the man who's starting at quarterback today for the Fretmen is Colton Allen. 1st and 10. Throwing quickly to the side, complete. Michael Ryan brought on the sideline. Knocked out around the 27. And that's going to be enough to move the sticks on this pass.
Yeah, on the replay, Colton Allen just made a quick decision. Pre-snap, probably came to the understanding that the corner's playing so far off, we're just going to run some sort of hook on the outside. Easy pitch and catch gives them a 1st down.
They mark the ball down to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 30. Allen looking to pass over the middle. Incomplete, intended for McCraney. 2nd down.
Yeah, something looked a little peculiar there as Colton Allen overshot McCraney, but Cody Holmes, it looked like, had his hand up, was calling for the ball. So 2 receivers were sort of on top of each other. Not sure if somebody broke something off given the coverage, but a miscue in this case, and it's going to bring up that 2nd and long, as you stated.
Colton Allen in the regular season amongst dual all-stars at the quarterback position in the OFC this season with 77 completions, 1,200 yards, 20 touchdowns. Looking to pass on 2nd down. Steps up in the pocket. Scrambles to the left. Across the 20. Going out of bounds. That's enough for a 1st down and then some in the red zone.
Yeah, wisely going out of bounds. You don't need to take any extra hits there. He came off his number 1 receiver. You'll see it here on the replay. He's going to look out to his right, didn't like what he saw, and then he saw an opening back on his left, and he just realized, I can get the 1st down myself. And as soon as he broke that containment, he was able to get to the sideline and avoid any kind of contact.
And with the scramble, that places the ball at the 15-yard line, approaching 90 seconds into the 1st quarter here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Badi Quaz as the Fretmen and Grizzlies take each other on in the OFC semifinals. Allen passing, finds Jared Hayes-Williams, cutting towards the end zone, brought down inside the 5 for 1st and goal.
Yeah, that young man is leading the country in this league in receiving yards, and he's just added 14 to that on just a little bit of a stop slant. Settled into that B-seam, and once he caught that ball, he worked his way straight for the goal line. And like you said, the ball's set at the 1-yard line.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line after the reception by Hayes-Williams. Setting up with Allen, with Prier as the back. 3 receivers on the near side, 2 on the far side. Allen hands it off to Prier. Pushes to the end zone. Touchdown, Fretmen. And the Windsor Fretmen are on the board. It's 6-0.
Yeah, first official running play in this conventional way as they just hand the ball off tackle to Prier. And the left side of the line did a nice job here, and you'll see the replay just collapsing that left side. It was
offside
pretty clear cut
on the defense.
Right
that penalty's declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Spot. He was able to move the pile forward and easily create a running lane for the running back to walk that into the end zone.
Sam Richardson coming to the field for the extra point attempt as Allen will hold on to the kick to extend this lead to 7. 6-0 your score already, plus just past the 3-minute mark of this 1st quarter between the number 1 seeded Fretmen and the number 4 seed Grizzlies. Kick is placed, up and away, Richardson. Up and good. It's now 7-0. Today's game is presented by Harold Remark and Royal LePage Binder Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home or property. Contact Harold today by phone at 519-733-1028 or view his current listings at royallepagebinder.com. 7-0 already your score as the Fretmen strike within the first 3.5 minutes of the ball game here, Badi.
Yeah, and you can expect them to strike early and often. They are a shorthanded team. The opponents, as you told me prior to the start of the broadcast, dressed under 30 players for this matchup. Their all-star kicker's not here. Looking across from my vantage point, I don't see a tremendous amount of big bodies, particularly on their D-line, which lends itself to, if the Fretmen decide they just want to practice their run game, my guess is they can pile on a lot of running yards. It's going to be an uphill battle for the visitors.
Fretmen all set to kick it back to the Grizzlies. Booted away. Return for about the 10-yard line. Brought across the 20. Cutting to the right side of the field. Jordan Miles Still finding some space. Breaks a few tackles, brought down around the 35, marked out of maybe the 34. The Grizzlies offense led by their quarterback in Malachi Morrison, who had an up-and-down campaign. It's also the team's leading rusher, though. In the passing game, 3 touchdowns, 13 interceptions on 889 yards, but as well 205 rushing yards and 2 TDs on the ground.
Good return, good field position. That's been something that's been plaguing this Fratman team. If indeed there is something they have to sort of rectify, it's their kickoff coverage unit. There are just too many yards being picked up, and this is an undersized, undermanned GTA team who got a good return there.
Set it for 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Bad snap. Morrison forced to dive on top of that. And that's been something of a struggle for the Grizzlies side. Much of the campaign, seen a lot of botch snaps in London about a month ago. Seen that off and on when Windsor came down here as well.
It's weird looking because on that replay, the center it looked like he snapped it to his butt, which gives me the impression that he thought the quarterback was under center, but he's clearly not. And the way he holds the ball is not an under the center type maneuver.
This time, better snap on 2nd down, complete. Picked up around the 36, brought down at about the 44. That is just shy of the sticks for about a 9-yard reception.
A real soft cushion there from the corner. My guess is you're going to see GTA go for it. They have to, and you'll see here on the replay another high snap. Malachi does a good job of getting it out on target, and he allows his receiver a chance to make a play, splits a couple defenders, and makes it 3rd and manageable.
And the man who made the catch was Harvey Mafuda, the Grizzlies' best receiver. 18 receptions, 352 yards, and 2 of those passing touchdowns. 3rd and 2, 11:20 to go in the 1st quarter. And the special teams unit is out. Botch snap on the punt attempt. Forced to scramble. Mafuda trying to go for the 1st down. He's got it.
Yeah, there were 2 problems with that right off the get-go. The GTA Grizzlies on the far side of the field from our camera angle had a receiver uncovered. It was a botched snap. The rush came. They looked like they were trying to come after it, and then a missed tackle at what would have been probably a turnover on downs, and the punter, whoever it may be today, was able to reset the chains by getting at least the 4 yards needed to extend this drive.
That was Mafuda, actually. That was back there for the punt, who had just made that reception to make it 3rd and short. And now he's staying on the field of the near side, looking to go on the ground on 1st and 10. And the rush goes nowhere that time.
Yeah, nice job inside by the force unit there. That looked like it was number 52. Josh Allen inside, who made the initial contact on the ball carrier as the GTA Grizzlies tried to run a little bit of a power play to the wide side of the field there.
That was Michael Mbowaja, who went on the ground on the rush. Setting up now for 2nd and 10. 2 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side. Morrison throwing. Hard throw. Brought down about the 52. This is either way going to be shy for 3rd down.
Yeah, and it looked like it was Dalmas Lynch who made the initial contact. We'll see here on the replay. He was trying to jump this and get on it. Made the safe play, made the tackle after the reception. Had he read that maybe a little sooner, he might have been able to undercut that and take it for the interception. But no need to take any unnecessary gambles this early.
2 returners are back for the Fratmen here as the special teams unit is back out. And once again, it's Mafuda. This time, faking the punt as the pressure comes. Forced to scramble to the right. Flag is down to the backfield. Gets enough to get to the sticks. But we'll have to see if this one comes back. Again, a flag was down to the backfield. And it looks like, yes, hold.
It was a push in the rear. There's no question. But I'm not sure if the Fratmen see here. We'll get the official call in a second. But there's a receiver on the top side of the screen for the GTA Grizzlies that is uncovered. So this is definitely going to go back because they did get the 1st down. Here's the official call.
Holding on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
That holding call is going to bring the ball back about 10 yards after the good recovery from Mafuda. Here's a narrow look.
And I'm not sure what but mind you, his experience probably is telling him, I don't see a punting lane. He hasn't done it before, so he's just going to try to scramble for it himself.
Yeah, majority of the punts were taken by Baines. This time, Mafuda goes way back inside the 10. And that went from bad to worse. And now the Fratman have it for just around first and goal.
Yeah.
Just shy of it, rather.
That's a comedy of errors, Justin. A bad bouncing snap, and it goes sideways on him. And next thing you know, he's pinned inside his own 15-yard line to try to pick up the ball. And it just, again, how many reps has he taken? I don't even know if they're long.
4 punts in the regular season.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's their regular long snapper because they're so short-handed right now. They literally have half the team on the field and half on the bench, which is not a good number at this level.
25 active players on the roster today for the GTA Grizzlies. 1st and 10 marked at the 12, about halfway through this first quarter. Fratman ready for their second drive, starting with the jet sweep. Lewis breaks a tackle. Flag is up, trying to cut around the 5, brought down inside the 3. Ball comes out after the tackle, but again, a flag popped up.
Yeah, that's going to be on Cody Holmes. You'll see here on the replay as the jet sweep comes to the right of the screen on that little pop pass, you're going to see Cody Holmes work his way back towards the line of scrimmage, and you see a defender falling, and that was a push from the rear, a blindside type of block. Now, that wasn't an unnecessary roughness, but you see the push from the rear is indeed the call, and that's definitely going to move them back 10 from the original line of scrimmage.
Alex Jemmy again, the head referee for today's matchup, as that will move the possession back a few yards.
Illegal block, pushing the rear on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So now 1st and 20 coming up here.
Yeah, and you saw Alex Jemmy holding up 5 and 3. That's number 8, and it was indeed on Cody Holmes. The all-star receiver got a little ahead of himself there.
1st and 20. Clock continues to roll down. McCraney switches to the running back spot. Going to McCraney on 1st and 20. Cutting to the left. Jukes 2 defenders. Brought down inside the 10 for a long rush of about 15.
A very natural runner of the ball. He played running back in high school. Very talented with the ball in his hands. Easy on this little read option. He takes the ball, presses the hole, and then finds a cutback. Secures the ball, moves it to his left hand, uses his speed and strength to get to the left edge. And then he's dragged out of bounds after he gets the ball all the way inside the 10, almost to the 5.
Fratman now setting up for 2nd and 5 after the 15-yard carry. Again, McCraney switching to the running back spot prior to the slot. This time passing. Allen looking left. Batted down to the line of scrimmage. Did he get the interception? Believe so, yes. Colton Allen intercepted off the deflection.
Yeah, in this case scenario, I think he missed 2 things. His first read, I believe Nash Prier was wide open, just underneath the goalpost. You can't see it necessarily in our screen, but when he made the decision to go left, he turned his shoulders, and he just never got enough air on the ball. And he never put it in a position where he could get it up to his receivers, and you see here on the replay that the batted ball gets intercepted, and that's number 12 for the visitors. We'll give you his name. It is Jordan Miles who made that interception.
And Jordan Miles with a heads-up play after the strong defensive bat down by Kenley David Rude gives the Grizzlies back the ball inside their own 10. 1st and 10 at the 6. Morrison throwing outside. It's complete. Brought down around the 30-yard line. And the good reception by Isaiah Bonifant, one of the top defensive players for this team, gives them 1st and 10 out of the shadows of their own goal post.
Yeah, I believe he's a 2-time All-Star on the back end of that. However, in this case scenario, he uses some size, maybe a little bit of a push-off on, looks like it was Dalmas Lynch, number 20, for the Fratmen, but nonetheless, that's a size mismatch, and you might see that play happen 2 or 3 more times today.
Yeah, a defensive back making that reception. Morrison, though, tries to throw it there, incomplete. That time intended for Tristan Phipps.
Yeah, never really set his feet. He took the snap, and it looked like he was trying to move to the right, but I don't know if that was just a slide scheme or a sprint out. Either way, never set his feet. Errant pass, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and long.
2nd and 10, ball placed at the 31-yard line. Phipps sets up in the slot, 3 receivers in the motion. Morrison throwing quick, trying to find his man, incomplete, intended for Mafuta in traffic. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, real good coverage by Elijah Blythe. He pretty much ran the route, and when the receiver tried to stem up the field, Elijah was just in a better spot and was able to cut off any kind of route there. And that's going to bring up a punting situation, which has already been a circus ride for these visitors. Let's see if they can successfully execute the snap and the kick.
Again, to reemphasize, Mafuta, when punting in the regular season, just 4 attempts, 118 yards total on those punts in 8 games played. He's back, bobbles the snap, does punt it away. Up in the sky, but blown dead in a crowd of players.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's a little panicky or nervous or anxious. That was a good snap. He bobbled it, dropped it, had to pick it up, and then the pressure got to him, and it might have even been tipped at the line. The ball did not even travel more than 10 yards, so the referees, when the ball's about to fall down in the scrum of players, for player safety reasons, blow it dead, and that means it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line at the left hash for the Fratmen, who are coming off of a turnover.
We'll see if they can bounce back after the interception off the deflection inside the 10. 1st and 10 placed at the 36. Daniel Mayo now in at cornerback after the interception by Allen on the last drive. McCraney moves to the near side of the field. To the ground they go. Nash Prayer cutting right. Sheds forward. Enough for 1st down. Gain of about 15.
That's a nice downhill run. Nice set of blocking from everyone involved there, because he didn't get touched for at least 6 yards here. You'll see on the replay, they just turn out block. They come back underneath it. Drive. Receivers contribute to the block, and he wasn't touched until he was at least 10, 12 yards down the field. And that's going to give them about a solid 15-yard gain and a 1st down.
And Prayer, one of the top running backs this season in terms of yardage. More than 400-plus yards, 3 TDs in the regular season. 1st and 10 at the 21, just shy of the red zone. Mayu looking to pass, looking for Juju Paintsill, end zone, touchdown! And the Fratmen now lead by 2 scores.
Yeah, and that's what Daniel Mayu loves to do. He loves to throw the ball vertical. This one was maybe a little underthrown, but good concentration by Paintsill to make sure that he secured the catch with a little bit of a face guard. You see here on the replay, he eyeballed him right away, and he knew he had somebody going vertical. And like I said, maybe a little underthrown, but good concentration by Paintsill.
Indeed, and able to make that catch for the reception to grow the lead to 13-0. Could go to 14-0 pending this extra point by Richardson. Richardson in the regular season on these kicks missed just 1. Kick is up, and that time it goes through for the 14-0 advantage for the backup kicker. Let's take a look at the OFC standings for the regular season. By the way, as mentioned, the Fratmen were the #1 seed with a 7-1 record. London and Hamilton were tied behind them at a 6-2 record. Then there's the rest of the league, where the GTA Grizzlies beat the Sooners both times to get that 2-6 record.
Yeah, and Ottawa ended up having a couple wins and losing the head-to-head competition. And even in that graphic, technically Hamilton, I believe, was the 2 seed because Hamilton had beaten London. So the head-to-head comes into play pretty much in any league when you go to tiebreakers. But with only 4 teams making the playoffs, every single win, every single matchup, point differentials, if you're playing twice, count. And Ottawa was on the short end of the tiebreaker in that case. GTA had to come down to Windsor.
And now GTA is ready for the kickoff return with 4:52 to go in the first quarter. Richardson kicks it away, picked up on the return by Miles. Up the middle, jukes to the right. Across the 25, brought down by a gain of tacklers just past the 30. So the Grizzlies looking to wake things up on offense. They had some bright spots in terms of scoring, including having those 30 points, as mentioned, the second of the two matchups, the 60-30 loss in the GTA. Looking to try and show they can score in this matchup today.
Well, I would just settle for a few first downs if I'm GTA right now. It's already early, but it is an actually warmer day with the sun out today. And if the defense is going to be on the field that long, you're going to have to get them some rest, especially when you're shorthanded with only 25 players. So you have to get the offense going a little bit. 19
degrees Celsius, sunny skies, clouds starting to come over the horizon. Very little wind all day today. 1st and 10 on the ground they go. And again, a tacklers is ready that time. Loaio Lako brings them on down with Blake Olette. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, nice discipline by the backside of the defense there. Quarterback hands the ball off to the running back, and everyone stayed home. And like you said, Loaio and Blake Olette just sat there, and they both wrapped them up for a nominal gain, if he even picked up any.
2nd and 10 is what they rule in the field. 2 receivers make it 3 for the Grizzlies. Morrison feels the pressure, brought down for the sack. First one of the day by the Fratman.
Yeah, and that's your all-star safety, Dante Fornaserio, who comes up and makes a play. And the young man was brought in on a little bit of a blitz, works his way, spins off the running back, and he gets there. And I guess we got to give some love to one of the defensive linemen. And it looked like, and I don't necessarily see a number, it might have been 57, but I can't find the number. It was who assisted on the tackle there as well.
Either way, special teams unit out after the 5-yard loss on the sack. This time, Mafuta punts it away. And a good punt picked up around the 40, dropped. Cooper still picks it up off the ground, off and away. Across center field. Brought down for the tackle. Just around the Lancers logo at center field by Davian Brathwaite.
Yeah, if Marcus Cooper did not mishandle the punt initially, he might have picked up a lot more. A real good punt this time. The execution was great. A nice high punt driven back. Has to catch it at his 40, but as you see, it goes right through the wickets, and it created just enough of a slowdown. Now, Marcus Cooper still picked up almost 15 yards and crossed midfield, but could have had more if he was in rhythm.
With that, decent field position yet again for the Fratmen, as Mayu still in a quarterback for 1st and 10. Under 3 minutes to go in the first. Mayu feeling pressure. Throwing on the motion, finds Haynes Williams. Spins forward, brought down for reception at 12, but a flag was down to the backfield.
I can call this for you. That was number 65, the all-star left tackle, Corey Levesque. Wrapped up the outside linebacker rush end, and it was a bear hug, so this is definitely going to come back here. We'll wait for the official call from Alex Jemmy, but Chris Patton threw that flag right away, and he's already indicating that it's going back 10.
Holding on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, that is indeed the right person, number 65, Corey Levesque.
Makes it 1st and 20 now at the 49-yard line. Takes them out of the Grizzlies' territory here. Setting up once again for the 1st and 20 now. Hayes Williams sets up on the outside with Holmes. 3 in the motion. Mayu. Pump fakes, decides to scramble. Tries to throw out of the pressure. Bobbling up in the air in a crowd, incomplete. And a late flag on the play.
Yeah, and that's just you cannot do that, Daniel Mayu. You have a big arm, but you're rolling to your left and you're trying to set up. That ball was up for grabs, and we're going to see who the penalty's on. but you'll see he looks right, nothing's there. He tries to double clutch it. We lost him in the camera, but then he breaks out to his left, and he gets hit. His arm gets hit as he throws, which puts him in a vulnerable position. And here's the call.
Pass interference on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that just saved that entire play with the pass interference on coming on the push from behind on Ryan.
Yeah, and that was just luck. That was no talent. That was sheer luck. As the ball fluttered in the air, it went higher than it went further in length.
And after the dangerous throw, it's now 1st and 10 at the 46 from the pass interference. 3 back in the motion, make it 4. Quick screen play for Paintsill. Sheds off his tackler. Sheds through a second. 2 more bring him down for a gain of a couple. 2nd and medium.
Not very good execution of the blocks on the outside. Paintsill had to make people miss right away on this quick little hitch, so there just was no blocking there for him. So he catches the ball 3-4 yards deep, and he has to run about 17 yards, and you see here in the replay, he only ended up picking up about 2.5 yards total.
2 yards in total, in fact, on that one, as you take a look at the Fratman sideline. Again, Fratman lead by 14 with 1:40 to go. Whistles on the field.
Timeout, defense.
And the first timeout of the game called by the Grizzlies. Again, 14-0 is your score. Today's game is presented by Nodis Athletic Incorporated. Since 1946, Nodis has been Windsor's sporting equipment specialist. Their knowledgeable and experienced football experts will fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom at 2020 Tecumseh Road West or call 509-252-5705 to find the perfect equipment for you and your sports. 14-0's the score. About 1:30 to go in this first quarter here so far, Badie. A strong game so far for the Fratmen. What do you think the Grizzlies need to do adjustment-wise here? Because their defense has been looking good. The offense has been up and down, though.
Well, first of all, on offense, I think they have to try to simplify it. Run some hooks. They completed a couple early. Take a shot every once in a while. I don't think they're going to be able to really run the game. I just run the ball, so I think they got to commit to the short, intermediate passes, take what the defense gives you. On the flip side, the defense, they have created turnover already, and they have come up and made some pretty good tackles. The struggle is going to be for them is not giving up the big play, because the explosive nature of this Fratman offense with 4, 5, 6 multiple players who are capable of stretching this field vertically and horizontally. So they have to try to negate all the big plays.
2nd and 8 now as the Fratmen come out of the timeout with 3 in the motion. Mayu looking to pass down the left sideline. Incomplete intended for Cooper. That brings up 3rd and long now.
Yeah, and this is a clear punting situation here, and the Fratmen need to make sure that they execute this, and you want to try to possibly angle punt to that proverbial coffin corner. You'll see here on the replay, Dan Mayu was just clearly going to Marcus Cooper on the go route. Marcus Cooper had a step, so the ball was a little bit overthrown. There is no noticeable wind, so there's no advantage one way or the other. But just a slight overthrow there, and now you're going to have to punt. So let's see if they can execute. This is something that they're going to have to do great if they win this game and move on to next week.
All set to punt it away with about 1:20 to go in the quarter. Brandon Bonney puts it inside the 15. Can't get to the corner, though. Able to avoid the no yards flag. Miles brought down for a short return inside the 15.
Okay, all in all, a good kick. They were able to get it inside the 20-yard line. As you see the coverage unit coming off the field into our screen. And here's the full shot there. And Bruce Carter just setting up the ball. Chris Patton and Alex Jemmy taking their position here. You can already tell the windedness of some of these GTA players. Hands on the hips, bending down. It's going to be a long afternoon with only 25 players dressed.
Yeah, and some of them, we've already seen them point on both sides of the ball. For example, Tristan Phipps, who we've seen make a couple catches so far, make one catch, was the man who was having to defend Paintsill, for example, on the last touchdown. He's wearing number 79. Keep an eye on him on the upper part of the slot. Couple of the motion for Morrison. Scrambles to his left on 1st and 10. Throws it away. 2nd and 10 coming.
Yeah, and you can just tell, like, number 11 is the center right now for the visitors, a non-traditional number. He's a defensive end. He's playing both ways. He's got to do the shotgun snaps here. They're just bringing a little pressure, and if you don't have your regular unit there, at the end of the day, you're never going to get your protection scheme set. So they really do have to decide, hey, we're just going to get the ball out of our hands quickly because the protection's never going to be there.
2nd and 10 coming up. 36 seconds to go in the first quarter. Morrison, tons of pressure in the backfield, brought down for the sack. Blake Ouellette leads the rush that time, makes it 3rd and long.
Yeah, and you can expect them to probably concede the safety here, Justin. Probably going to be the last play of this opening quarter of the semifinal. However, that rush came from the outside initially by Lueco, and then you do see the pressure underneath from Blake Ouellette making the sack there in the replay.
Still 18 seconds are left in this first quarter so far. As we continue, we'll see what the strategy is for the Grizzlies here in this call. We've seen many times in the short game they go for the safety opportunity. Mafuta takes the safety, 16-0 now your score.
And not atypical. That's the normal play in the Canadian Football League. You're going to give up the safety, and you're going to put themselves in a situation where you're going to either kick off or force them to scrimmage from the 35-yard line. So it looks like Coach LaChance is going to make the visitors kick.
Want to give a shout-out real quick as they get ready for the kick here to Harold Remark, one of the presenting sponsors, who is watching today's game from Ireland this evening. Thank you very much for tuning in, Mr. Remark. Hopefully you're enjoying today's action as the Fratman leads 16-0.
And safe travels wherever you may be and eventually back here, Harold.
Indeed. There's 3 seconds left of the first quarter, so the Fratman will have the ball for the start of the second frame. And Mafuta sets up the kicking tee. The last time they set up for the kickoff, they had to have a placeholder.
Yeah, I think there's just a gust of wind, and that was probably the only thing, and the ball rolled off the tee. So from a comfort standpoint, I think they asked to hold it, but we'll see. Again, not the regular kicker, so the familiarity of it, the mechanics of it, something that he hasn't probably practiced very much.
Mafuta this time will not have the placeholder for his second kickoff attempt of the day. Decent kick, bounces around the 34. Tap to McCraney for the return. Cuts forward across the 50. Brought down, still being brought down at center field. So the Fratman will have great field position for the start of the second quarter. They lead 16-0 after 15 minutes of play. Way back after these messages, you're watching Weed Eater Productions from Windsor, Ontario.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario, as Isaiah Bonifant is being brought off the field for the Grizzlies. He had been amongst the players trying to bring down Brendan McCraney before the end of the first quarter on that kick return. And now he's going to the sideline here in this semifinal matchup. Justin Prince alongside Badi Quaz as the Fratmen lead by 16 after 15 minutes of play here so far.
Yeah, I'm going to give the players who got on the bus and came down here a lot of credit for their effort and their pride. it's not tough coming to try to slay Goliath, but they came down here and they're playing both ways.
Setting up now for 1st and 10 after the return by McCraney. Ball is placed at center field. Colton Allen looking to throw. Pump fakes, brought down to the backfield for the sack. That time brought down for the sack to make it 2nd and about 14.
Yeah, and it looked like it was number 10 who made the tackle.
Michael
And
Holzbosch.
You'll see here on the replay, he gets there and he pushes them down, and that's just good pressure. Good job for the visitors.
That's one of the positives, though, I've seen from them in a couple games that we've seen, whether it was in London, where I was calling that game down there where they played the Beefeaters, or down here, is their pass pressure seems to be one of the positives.
If they can keep that up, they might get a turnover here or there.
2nd and 13. Allen looking to pass. Feeling pressure again. Scrambles to the right. Trying to find Holmes in double coverage. Incomplete. That time broken up by the defenders of Ervin Renhawa as well as Tristan Phipps.
Good on GTA. They are really putting some pressure on the quarterbacks here, and they did not lose their coverage here. You'll see there's some immediate pressure, and this is coming right into the face of Colton Allen. And that pressure forced him to scramble, and then he throws a jump ball, which to your best player, the offensive wizard, if you will, Cody Holmes, unfortunately, he was in a double coverage.
But that's going to bring back out Bondi for the punt. Kicking towards the sideline, bounces at the 30. Picked up about the 26-yard line once again. Miles on the return. Brought down about the 42-yard line as the Grizzlies look to do something on offense.
Yeah, so that was pretty good all around. After you concede the safety, you kick off. Even though the return got to midfield, you force a quick 2-and-out, and you get some pressure on the quarterback, and you force a sack early in the first down. And now, after the give up of 2, you are set up at the 42-yard line. Maybe, just maybe, these Grizzlies from GTA can put something on the board right now to make it just a little interesting, just so that the Fratmen now have to bear down a little more.
Grizzlies looking to have a chance to roar on 1st and 10 of the 42, approaching 2 minutes into the second. This time sticking back to the ground. Flag is up at the line of scrimmage. Battle for yards still for Menbalaja. Brought down for a gain of about 4, but again, a flag is down.
I can't really speculate the awkwardness of the timing of that flag. It wasn't at the snap, so I'll have to wait to see the official call.
Procedure charge to GTA.
Illegal procedure, no end on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty, declined. 2nd down.
The Fratmen take the loss of down instead of the loss of yards that time. As many of the fans here in attendance, as you can see, some of them coming even from the Lions game that happened today.
And I was there myself, Justin, but I'm a little puzzled as to why they declined that penalty to make it 2nd down and 7. I would have guessed 1st and 15 is a better option. However, they had no end, so they declined the penalty.
Maybe that's the confidence from Coach Chance there of his defense, maybe.
Quite possibly. Not the conventional call.
2nd down and 7 after the decline penalty. Morrison looking to throw into coverage. Diving catch. They say incomplete. Mafuta, the intended receiver.
Yeah, that was a good effort, good try. Now the young man's going to have to try to line up after getting winded. You'll see here on the replay it was an ISO route. He's just throwing up to his one guy, and he battled for it, but he looks like he landed out of bounds, and the ball came out anyway. And now after landing squarely on his back, he's going to have to come in here and punt this ball away.
Jalen Butcher and Elijah Blythe on the coverage that time. So Mafuta sets up for the punt on 3rd and 7. Cooper and Lewis back to return once again. And it's been an interesting endeavor on the punts. This time, bobbles the ground a bit, still gets it off. Booming punt inside the 30. Cooper brings it across the 35. Stiff arms one man. Breaks a second. Brought down by Bonifant for a decent return just past the 35-yard line.
They must have had something set there, the Fratmen.
Today's game is presented by The Barber's Chair. For over 2 decades, the Barber's Chair team consists of experienced professional barbers ready to provide you with that perfect cut you've been looking for. Walk-ins are always welcome, or you can contact us at the www.barberschairwindsor.com to book your appointment today. Fratman leads 16-0 about 3 minutes into the second quarter as they look to book their appointment into the OFC Finals. But there's still a lot of football to go here, buddy.
Yeah, and so far not as rhythmical as I thought they would be.
Allen sets up, hands it back to Prier. Trying to rush forward on 1st and 10. Brought down for a gain of about 9, makes it 2nd and short.
And maybe that's the recipe to find the rhythm right now. Force GTA to defend the run. As you'll see here, just a little power play as the guard pulls out, is able to pop and kick out the defensive end. They climb to linebacker level, and Prier isn't touched until he gets right to the safety, and that's already 9 yards down the field, bringing up that second and pretty much automatic at 1 yard in Canadian rules.
2nd and 1 coming up now with 3 receivers on the far side of the field. Allen, delayed draw, handed off to Prier, enough for 1st down. Has lots of running space. Spun around, out of bounds at the 46-yard line, a gain of about 15-20.
Yeah, that looked more like a counter tray rather than a delay as the right side of the offensive line pulled across to the left side, and we'll see here on the replay, yeah, you get the kick out from Jennings. You get the backside guard coming through and making just a lead wheel block and knocked his man down. And Prier had the patience to allow those blocks to develop as he crossed midfield and got it to the 46 in the positive territory.
With the rush that puts them just shy of the 45-yard line for 1st and 10. 4 receivers on the field this time once again. Extra blocker. Allen decides to roll. Throws. Trying to find Holmes, incomplete. Makes it 2nd and 10.
I would have liked to seen Colton Allen on that bootleg attack the line of scrimmage a little bit more. After the snap, they take the all-star center on a bootleg, and he actually is escorting Colton Allen out to the right. Colton Allen just kept drifting towards the GTA bench as opposed to attacking the line of scrimmage. And when you drift, the ball is likely going to be underthrown, and that was the case.
With the incompletion, makes it 2nd and 10. Again, 3 on the far side of the field. Lots of pressure coming. Lots of flags as Allen goes to the ground.
Yeah, offsides, no question. Colton Allen was just flipping the ball, thinking it was a dead play because they actually severely encroached. So you'll see here on the replay, there were 2, 3, 4 guys, and then Colton Allen just gave up on the play. Wasn't expecting to get hit, and I don't think there was malicious intent there to hit him.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Realized the whistles were going off and started to let off just as he made the contact there.
Yeah, and it's 2nd and 5, so that's the right call. That's not unnecessary roughness or anything like that. But the Fratmen did indeed get the free 5 yards, so the run is still a viable option here.
2nd and 5 after the offsides on 4 different players at least. Holmes and Lewis setting up deep along with McCraney for the rush forward. Prier gets it on the ground instead. Brought down inside the 35. That's enough for a first by about 3 yards.
Yep, and that's exactly what that penalty affords you, the luxury of just trying to run the ball. You were in no man's land around the 40-yard line, so if you only picked up 3 or 4, you were probably going for it anyway. It was too far for a field goal, but they did pick up the 7, which is more than enough to reset the sticks.
8 yards on the rush. Gives the ball at the 33-yard line. 5 receivers back on the field once again for the Fratmen. Prier still the back. Less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. Allen, screen play finds Holmes. Holmes getting some blocks. Pushes through a defender, brought down around the 25. Makes it second and about 3. Let's take a look at this one.
And here's the replay. It's very difficult to adjust when they get 5 guys to one side as the running back leaked out early. So it's going to force you to decide, well, who's covering who. And Cody Holmes is probably the most electric player on the offense. The ball got out to him relatively quickly, and he easily picked up 7, 8, in this case 9 yards on a little bubble.
So they do mark it at about the 28 and make a 29-yard line, pardon me, 24. Regardless, Fratman trying to go for the second and short.
Easy push forward. Colton Allen got about 5 yards there on the quarterback sneak. GTA was not quite ready for it. So Colton Allen easily picked up the first down, and now we're going to have a 1st and 10 at what looks like the 21-yard line after the chains get set, Justin.
Yeah, just shy of the red zone once again, but the Fratmen are getting to the point where they've controlled the time of possession so far in this first half, especially with this long drive now of more than 4+ minutes. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Allen, fake handoff, throwing to the end zone, broken up. And a great diving play by the defender to make it second down.
Underthrown or late. I don't know which one I want to see. I'll see on the replay. Cody Holmes is open for a lot of time. And if the ball is thrown now, he either gets it early, but this is underthrown. It allowed the corner to come back. That corner was not covering Cody Holmes. He came back and undercut and was able to bat that ball down. Got to be either quicker, get it to him in space where he can then run it into the end zone, or throw it to the big O of Windsor, and he would have run under it.
And because of that, it's now 2nd and 10. Allen looking, trying to redeem himself after the bad throw. Whistles called on the field. Looks like timeout is coming out.
Timeout. Defense.
Second timeout by the Grizzlies. Let's take a look at the GTA Grizzlies schedule for 2019. As you can see, the Fratmen defeated the Grizzlies in both of those matchups. Both for the wins on their calendar came against Ottawa.
Yeah, and I was actually a little surprised that they lost to Niagara. I thought that after the opening performance, where 26-0 is a respectable score to start off the season, I was a little surprised they lost to Niagara. However the case may be, they did pick up those 2 critical wins, which put them in this situation here. They are doing some right things. I know Dominic and I, in that very first opening bit, talked about how GTA isn't that far off. They just have to get a little bit more commitment from whether it's community partners and maybe a little bit more depth from their players, that maybe one day they can beat a London or a Hamilton. Not necessarily all of them in one season, but they have to beat a Windsor, a Hamilton, or a London at some point, and that might steamroll or snowball into something bigger for them as a program.
Now they'll try and make the defensive stand here on 2nd and 10 with about 7:33 to go after the timeout. GTA, no timeouts remaining in this first half. 2 still for the Fratmen. Allen looking to throw. Off the hands of Holmes, incomplete. And Allen's been trying to get it to Holmes all day, has not been able to do so, though.
Yeah, and a little miscommunication. Holmes turned it in. It looked like Colton Allen threw it out. So they're just working on some things here, and you got Colton Allen was looking at him the entire way, and he got this to his outside shoulder. Probably a catch I would say Cody wants back because it did hit him in the hands. But they are going for it. They're insisting on getting some work here, and it might be at the expense of a shorthanded Grizzlies team, but they are going for it rather than trying a field goal.
3rd and 10, 2 in the motion. McCraney moves next to Allen. Holmes moves up to the top. Looking to pass towards the end zone. Single man coverage, caught, touchdown, Fratman. And the scoring barrage continues after the touchdown reception by Dante Lewis.
Well, if you were watching the play before, they did the exact same motion, and I saw the response from GTA. So Coach LaChance says, okay, well, now we know what coverage you're going to play. They walked the safety over to Cody Holmes, which meant you had one-on-one coverage. And Dante Lewis just was able to run a little slot fade, and they made the catch, touchdown, and they've extended their lead to 22-0 with the extra point pending.
Richardson set for the extra point attempt. Allen to hold again. Kick is up. And grow the lead even more. It's now 23-0 with the extra point. Let's take a look at the Fratman's schedule for 2019 and how they got here. Their only loss came to London on September the 7th, but they ended the regular season, Badi, with 5 straight victories and a lot of points in that span.
Yeah, but the most important ones were September 28th and October 5th. Back-to-back stretch where they had to go to London. They had to overcome the loss, which by 7 earlier, and they did by doing that, by winning by 15. And then having Hamilton making sure that that game was in their favor, and worst case scenario, if it wasn't in their favor, it was less than the 16 points they had beaten Hamilton earlier. So Windsor did a great job, and then obviously that Ottawa game at 78-0 was probably a little bit of a gong show. It's a long trip to go up there, but they posted the number, and that put them in a real good spot heading into this playoff run.
That's how the Fratmen got to their 7-1 record, the top seed in the OFC in 2019 after the regular season. Kickoff is up and away as the Grizzlies look to get good field position. Once again returning is Miles, off to the races, breaks the tackle on the sideline. Into a gain of tacklers around center field as the whistles blow.
I still can't understand why they can't hammer out this kickoff coverage unit. They have scored so many points this year, and they're kicking and getting so much practice. And I know Coach LaChance. I spoke to Coach LaChance. I coach and Coach Stacey Norton, and they were saying how they tried just about everybody. Coach McCurdy, they tried just about everybody on that kickoff coverage unit, and for some reason they just cannot cover a kick. That is great field position with an outmatched opponent. What happens if you're playing London next week and they have more talent, like Tazi Van Bell?
I agree with you on that one. 1st and 10 though for Morrison. Looking to scramble, goes out of bounds. Maybe a gain of 1, and that's about all.
Yeah, maybe a gain of 1, and they ran about 40 yards from the left hash all the way out of bounds to possibly pick up a yard. Good back-end coverage there. It didn't look like the Fratmen brought a lot of heat. And this time, because they didn't bring any heat, the quarterback did not necessarily find an open receiver. His eyes didn't take him anywhere. So he just scrambled and picked up a modest 1-yard gain.
2nd and 9 now, approaching 6 minutes to go in the first half as the sun starts to set amongst the treetops. Ball directly at center field. Blocker moves up to the line of scrimmage. Morrison moves to scramble. Ouellette chases him back. Thrown away. Finds a man on the bench. Regardless, that's incomplete. And
you need time, Justin, to roll out to your opposite arm because you're going to have to eventually attack the line of scrimmage, and there is a flag on the field. We'll have to wait to see what that is, but he was unable to get his shoulders turned and move forward. But here's the official call from Alex Jemmy.
Still waiting for that official call as he discusses it with his crew. That was, looks like, as he was trying to throw it away.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're talking about roughing the passer. I didn't think there was, but is that intentional grounding?
Here's the call.
Intentional grounding. Offense. 3rd down.
So they do call it as intentional grounding, Badi.
Yeah, and unlike in other areas, like they're in Canada, you can intentionally ground the ball from even within the pocket, but I'm pretty sure the only rule is this has to get back to the line of scrimmage. And that ball did not get anywhere near the line of scrimmage, as the line of scrimmage is the midfield stripe, and that ball was thrown probably at the 40, 45-yard line of the GTA right in their sideline.
I was going to say it didn't look like it was inside the tackle box, but Mafuta forced to run. Across the 45, breaks the tackle. Cooper can't stop him, and the Grizzlies get enough for the 1st down.
for the love of everything holy, I don't understand how you're able to get a punt run fake, and they needed 35 yards. It was 3rd and 34, or 30.
3rd and 30.
And they got 32 yards out of this. It's just straight sprint here. They had a chance to push him out right here, and they did not. And he ended up tiptoeing up the sideline. So that's the special teams have been a little bit of a cluster. It's been just a little bit of a mess for the Fratmen right now.
And it looked like Caleb O'Leary had to sprint somewhere around 30 yards. You've seen him in number 96 to be able to get that tackle, to even to stop it from going further after they couldn't get him out of bounds. Now it's 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Morrison feeling pressure, incomplete.
Ooh, Dante Fornasario was either a half step away from intercepting it, or if that ball was on target, he was in a good position to make a clean physical hit. You'll see here on the replay that the ball was just a little overthrown and a little bit wide, and that would have been a big collision there. And again, I don't think the intent would have been a hurt, but he would have been in a good spot to make a physical play over the middle of the field.
Makes it 2nd and 10 now with under 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Morrison again going to throw. Again going deep. Throws it directly to the Fratman for the interception. Picked up by Thomas Lynch. Across the 40. Has a lot of blockers. Pushing forward, brought down around the 50. And the interception gives the Fratmen back the ball with 4:20 to go in the half.
Yeah, nice job by Dalmas Lynch. He did not bite on the under route, and he just tracked the ball, made the Willie Mays over-the-shoulder catch, and then bingo, bingo, bingo. The rest of the convoy of white jerseys start to turn up the field as he approaches midfield, crosses midfield, and gets set at right around the 50-yard line, and officially the 51-yard line of the Grizzlies.
And after the interception, Daniel Mayu is back on the field after a couple failed opportunities off and on with Allen. Remember, Allen did get the touchdown in the end of the last drive. Mayu looking to throw. No one around, incomplete.
Yeah, Dan Mayu outthrew the yardage total that Colton Allen, as they shared the All-Star honors, which is probably unheard of. I'm not sure if teammates were ever co-All-Stars at the quarterback position in this league. It's probably not something that comes up all that often. In 3-down football, sharing time with quarterbacks is not that popular. That being said, Daniel Mayu has that big arm, and he loves throwing the ball deep, but they had such off coverage there, I'm sure he could have checked it down to somebody else.
Mayu, 1,700 yards in the regular season, 21 TDs, same amount of interceptions as Allen with 6, but the lower QB rating. McCraney, though, loses a couple yards on the second down reception, 3rd down and long.
Yeah, Brandon McCraney needed a little bit of help from Marcus Cooper and from Cody Holmes there, as they were just trying to do a double slant release, maybe a double pick release, if you will, get the ball in McCraney's hands. They did. You'll see here on the replay that he's doing just a little flat release, but there was no blocking, and that's just an easy tackle for the visitor. That's number 79, Tristan Phipps.
Bondi off to punt it away again. Return quickly for about the 26-yard line. Again, Miles on the return. This time brought down and a gain of tacklers at about the 35-yard line. Much more prepared that time. So the Grizzlies get set to come back onto the field on offense once again here with 3:08 to go, just a couple moments away from the 3-minute warning.
Yeah, these guys are getting tired. Other than maybe 4 offensive linemen, there are 5 or 6 of these guys that are playing both ways. And they pretty much can't wait until this 3 minutes of the second quarter expire to get just a little bit of rest. They would love to be able to put any kind of points up here to close the gap. Maybe they can shock everybody if they're able to close that gap.
Fratman looking like they're stacking the box on 1st and 10. Lots of pressure. Mafuta incomplete. Hard hit from underneath. No flag down on the field. Second down coming up.
Yeah, that was a high throw. I like the concept, get the hook on him, but the ball just goes way above the receiver's head, and then as you come underneath to make the tackle, it's just, you undercut somebody, and that's just going to be a violent collision with the ground. It's hard on the body. He'll feel that tomorrow.
That hit coming from Elijah Blythe as we're now inside that 3-minute warning with the ball placed at the 35-yard line for 2nd and 10. Grizzlies looking to break through on the scoreboard before they go to the locker rooms. Morrison to the side, complete. Receiver moved backwards, though, even with forward progress, not enough for the first. Looks like the place it is a loss of even a yard or two after the pushback for the defense.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll give him forward progress. I'm shocked they didn't have this ball up a little bit further unless they called it an incomplete pass, which he must have dropped it because they're going back to the line of scrimmage.
No,
so
they're going for 3rd and 11. So they aren't giving him the forward progress there, Badi.
He lost some yardage on the play. Okay, I thought he picked up a couple positive yards on the play.
He had it around the 40-yard line before the tacklers moved him back to where the line of scrimmage now is. Punted away by Mafuda. Up and away back to the frontman. Returned by Lewis this time around the 30. Open space for Days on the left sideline. Still saving the energy. Goes for the burst. Jukes one player. Olette tries to push him forward. Brought down by 2 different tacklers at about the 29-yard line. But a flag is down around center field.
Yeah, you're likely going to get this ball coming back. There was a push in the rear. At least it looked like it was the back of the one shoulder.
And it looks like, again, that's Bonifant again.
So the foul looks like it occurred right around midfield, so they'll probably go 10 yards back from the spot of the foul. Here's the official call.
Illegal block. Push in the rear on the return. 10 yards.
Illegal block charge to Windsor.
First down.
So that's going to move the return back after the illegal block in the back. But again, for the second time, we'll see Bonifant heading to the sideline. Today's game is presented by Mott's On Time Express, located in Windsor, Ontario. Mott's On Time Express offers its services to anyone in Canada as well as the U.S. From minivans to 24-foot trucks, we're committed to any move, big or small, quick and easy for our customers. Book your next move today at toll-free 877-250-8282 today. Fratman now have the ball placed after the penalty at about the 47-yard line here at Badi with 1:50 to go in this matchup, up by 23.
Yeah, and they have both their timeouts in their favor right now, so plenty of time, and I know they have the big strike arm of Dan Mayu in right now as well.
Keeping Mayu in the game, 3 in the motion. Looking to pass on 1st and 10. Up the middle, complete, McCraney. Kicks off to defenders, brought down at about the 42-yard line. Completion gets him about 15.
Yeah, if Dan Mayu can improve his completion percentage and throw those underneath routes just like that, he is a big, tall quarterback who can see that. That is the kind of kid you want to get the ball in their hands. Brandon McCraney's a tough runner, not afraid to go over the middle of the field. That was an easy pitch and catch, and if he can continue to evolve and develop, that is going to be absolutely a massive arsenal for him to have with that big arm.
52% completion rate of the regular season. He tries to find Paintsill, but dropped. And Paintsill will want that one back.
Yeah, Paintsill just needed to slow his hips down just a little bit, and they almost, I don't want to say stop, but this ball fell right in his lap, and I think it bounced right off his knee here, and it did, and it fell incomplete.
And he had lots of space there to run towards the end zone.
Yeah, it was a little underthrown, but I would have expected Paintsill to make that catch nonetheless.
Now after the incompletion, it's now 2nd and 10. Multiple receivers in the motion for Mayu. Throws it quickly to Hayes Williams. Brought down around the 27-yard line. Enough to move the sticks once again for the Fratmen.
Yeah, and it's just an effortless throw. That's a wide field in Canada, and he just pitched that from the left hash all the way across to the out, and like a good zip on the ball too, and that gave his receiver a chance to catch the ball and turn to try to get out of bounds, but a good tackle nonetheless from the visitors to keep that clock going as we're approaching 1 minute left in this opening half.
Mayu brings in the new play from the sideline, gets ready for 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Cooper sets up on the outside on the near side of the field. 3 in the motion. This time they go to Prier on the ground. Spins out of the traffic inside the 20. Gets them in the red zone, but close to the sticks.
That's a nice little run. Initial contact was near the line of scrimmage, but Prier was able to spin off of one potential tackler and work his way near the first down. They're just discussing whether or not it's indeed a first down, so we'll wait for the official movement. They're saying it's about a half-yard short, Justin.
So it's going to be 2nd and inches there as they place it just shy of the first down marker at that 16-yard line. Officially, it will mark itself at the 17-yard line. 3 back in the motion, under a minute to go in the first half. Flag up on the play, pass is dropped. Intended for Holmes that time, but again, a flag was on the near side of the field just after the snap.
Yeah, you might have had a Fratman receiver offside there, or it might have been a Grizzly end. I'm not sure, but we'll get the call here.
Offside. Defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Offside charge.
And penalties for this defense has been, have to say, for the Grizzlies, been a weakness in a lot of their games such as this.
Yeah, today not so much. This was just an offside, and I know they had that one earlier. But you can't give them free downs. That was close because it was. I thought maybe there were 2 people offside. It looked like a slot receiver had jumped the gun as well. But they obviously opted to go for the defensive player who might have either been in the neutral zone or breached the neutral zone before the snap.
With that, the ball moves to the 11-yard line for 1st and 10. Mayu wants the end zone to Paintsill. Broken up. That time Phipps on the coverage for 2nd and 10 now.
Yeah, he loves using the full field. In that case scenario, the ball is lined up at the 11, and that was a 30-yard throw because it was right to the back corner of that end zone. I do think if they clear out and run some sort of drag right along the goal line, that should be pretty wide open because you're in essence in goal situation here. You can get a first down just inside the 1, but if you're at the 1, you're likely falling forward to the end zone. So we'll see if Coach LaChance after this play opts to go for it or kick a field goal.
And it looks like they might use one of their timeouts. Yes, indeed.
Timeout.
First timeout called by the Fratmen in the
Offense.
first half. Looks like they want to make sure they're on the same page here. Hey, hockey fans, did you know that the Windsor Spitfires have flex packages that allow you to see home games around your schedule? Tickets are available for 6, 15, 22, and weekend-only packages. Visit windsorspitfires.com for more information. 23-0 again is your score in this OFC semifinal matchup, the 1 and the 4 seeds. Justin Prince alongside Badi Quaz with 31 seconds to go in this first half here. You were talking about what you were expecting to see here, that timeout giving them an extra chance to make sure this play goes right.
Yeah, and you can't take them over to the second half, so with 31 seconds left, you use this one. If you don't get it, use another one if you have to try to get the right play or right decision.
31 seconds to go in the first half with the timeout. Clock will not move until the start of the snap. Until that start of the whistle, rather. Clock now moves. Mayu looks to throw. Corner of the end zone. Did he get it? Hayes Williams in the corner. And it looks like they're still waiting for confirmation. Might be just at the 1.
Yeah, and it's actually probably a first down. I didn't think they were going to have that much room, but the spot does indeed give them a first down. So with 22 seconds left, they're going to have potentially 3 full plays to get this because you're first and goal at the 1. Now, the ball was actually spotted at the half, Justin, but in Canada, it always goes back to the 1 yard line. So you can gain inches, but it's going to go back to the 1 yard line. There's a full 1 yard neutral zone enforced at that 1 yard line. So he did get the first inside the 1, but the clock's running now, so they better hurry up to get at least this and 2 other plays off.
Remember, Fratman have 1 timeout remaining. Krug on the field for blocking. 7 seconds to work with. Prayer, end zone, touchdown. Fratman score once again as Prayer has his 2nd touchdown on the ground today.
Yeah, a little risky. Like, they went there and took a nonchalant. That whistle was blown in with 25 seconds. They took a full 22 off just to run the ball. And if they didn't get in on that one, if there was some sort of slip or some sort of mishandle of the ball, you could have walked away without any points. But good on the Fratman to execute. They're not going to leave any time on the clock for the Grizzly to do anything. And with this, possibly to extend it to 30 points.
Extra point attempt up, and that would do exactly that. 30-0. Fratman in control with 3 seconds to go in this first half. All they have to do is kick it back and away. Remember, the Grizzlies will receive at the start of the second half in this semifinal matchup here, Badi.
Yeah, and the Fratman are well on their way to accomplishing what they set out at the beginning of the year, get back to the conference final, and that's just one step at a time. Halfway through this, the next phase is going to be tidy up some of those mistakes, execute, and hopefully extend the lead just enough without causing any injury to your key players moving forward into next week's final.
Richardson now sets up for the kickoff once again. Just 3 seconds are left in this first half as the Fratman lead by 30. 2 returnmen back for the Grizzlies. Richardson. Squibb kicks it. Bob it around. Battle for the ball. Time runs out regardless as that'll end off the first half. The Windsor Fratman in control in the OFC semifinals. They lead 30-0 after 30 minutes of play. You're watching We Digital Productions live from Alumni Field in Windsor, Ontario. We'll be back after these messages.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back to Alumni Field. OFC playoff football action here on We Digital Productions. The Fratman having their way with the GTA Grizzlies. They lead at 30-0 after the first half of play. Joining us is the co-head coach. Am I going to get in trouble for saying that, Coach? The co-head coach of the Fratman, Mike Morency, of course. Coach, you know, not to take anything for granted here. Obviously, you're the heavy favorites coming into this game, but this is a little bit of a scary game for this team, being that we know who the opponent's going to be next week. You can't think beyond this game.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a trap game situation almost. You find out last night that you know, London's going to be in the final, and all our kids are excited. But I say, hey, wait a minute, we got a game to play first before we get on to the London stuff. So I mean, I think when you play the semifinals on different days, it creates that. There's you know, we just don't seem to have a ton of energy right now. You know, we're kind of, it looks like kids are thinking about next week already. And I mean, it happens, and we've done enough to get where we're at. But you're right about that, exactly. We've been sloppy.
And with that said, I mean, yeah, you get out to a 30-0 lead here, and some good things happening in that first half. And I know you and Coach LaChance have a lot of respect for these athletes on GTA, and that's the other thing you have to factor in.
Well, they got a couple of great kids. They got 4 or 5 kids that are tremendous players. I mean, they had a couple of kids. They had the Rookie of the Year on defense, and the Player of the Year on defense, and the wide receiver 89 Mustafa is a great kid, real talented kid. He's not a punter for sure, but he sure can run with the ball on the bad snaps. They've got some neat kids, and you got to play well in the whole 9 yards. And we just got to get better, and we haven't really gotten better tonight. So we're going to see in the second half, I think you'll see us come out a little more of a spark and really accomplish some stuff and be crisper. That's all. Just want to be crisper.
How careful were you and Coach LaChance and the staff with putting this game plan together? Because, again, looking beyond this game.
Well, one thing you don't want to do is do too much and show too much on film, so you stay away from maybe some of the stuff we put in. We'll put that to bed for now and wait till we're reading it next week. So there's certain things we don't really want to get out there on film, and you're always aware of that. So there's certain couple cupboards we may have saving for London, so just put them on the shelf and wait.
Okay. Obviously, you must have talked to the guy upstairs. We could have asked for better weather with this one, and got another nice crowd here. That's encouraging. It seems like the buzz about the Fratman right now is very good.
I think so. There's a lot of positives going on with the St. Clair situation and the winning this year and coming in first place. All things is everything's kind of coming together, and take care of business in the second half. And I think we'll have a great crowd next week to see a game. Nobody in Windsor likes London, so we'll play in London. We'll see how that goes.
Couldn't script that one better, that's for sure. Good stuff, Coach. Good luck in the second half. We'll talk to you down the road. Head coach Mike Morency, assistant head coach, I should say, Mike Morency of the Fratman, helping us out here. We're going to try to get a hold of Mark Holder from the GTA Grizzlies. Take a quick timeout. We'll come back with that interview for you. You're watching OFC Playoff Football on We Digital Productions.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Continue on with our halftime report here at Alumni Field. OFC semifinal playoff football action here on We Digital Productions. Very pleased to be joined on our broadcast by the hardworking head coach of the GTA Grizzlies, Mark Holder. Thanks for doing this with us, Coach Holder. The score, I don't want to talk so much about the score. I want to talk about the importance of getting to this game for your team and what it means to your organization.
Okay, so you can watch the sidelines. We have about maybe 22 guys dressed. And to play against the number 3 team in the country, to get to this point with our program, we couldn't ask some more. Right?
Yeah, it's a great stepping stone.
Exactly.
Players are going to gain some very valuable experience, obviously. I guess give me your approach to this game, Coach. I mean, obviously you come in thinking hopefully maybe an upset some way. You're heavy underdogs here, but the approach to it.
We always give Windsor a hard time. Right? We got athletes who can run, who catch the ball and things like that, but we're missing some big guys. Right? We have a lot of fun playing against Windsor because we feel like we match up with them in certain areas. Right? Today, I mean, the score is 30-0, but I think we still feel like we're in the game. And based on the fact that we have, like I said, 22 guys versus 65 guys, I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, Coach Morency was just saying to us, when they prepared for you guys, they know you guys play them hard, and they have a lot of respect for your program. And they got some respect for your athletes here. You've got really good athletes. What has to happen for this group? I mean, obviously you got to get more players involved.
Yes, obviously.
But what else can you do to get this team over the hump and really make it a solid OFC team?
Okay, it's kind of like what Windsor's doing, and we have to practice almost every day. 4 days a week, 5 days a week practice. What we really need, though, is we need parents to start becoming more involved with their kids. I know they're 17 to 22, but a lot of times the kids at 17, they're just not equipped to do the things that they need to get done, especially in terms of the commitment level and all that. If we have the parents backing the kids a little bit more, I believe this program could be, and all the programs around could be a little bit more successful.
Yeah, I think it's vital for all teams at this level in the OFC for sure. How do you approach the second half, Coach?
We kind of are happy just to be in the game. We're trying to make some positive plays and have a lot of fun playing against a really good team. And you know what? If we score once or twice, there'll be a party in the sidelines. I guarantee you that. Right? If we score against Windsor today, short man, with the crew that we have, it's a celebration.
All right, Coach. Good stuff. Really
Thank you
appreciate your
very
time.
much.
Congratulations on everything. You're doing a great job.
Thank you,
Hang
my
in
friend.
there, and we hope to see you back here, okay?
will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Head coach Mark Holder of the GTA Grizzlies doing a good job, working hard with this program, and yeah, I like it. I like what he says. This team's not out of it just yet, so we'll see what happens in the rest of this game. Quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk to the head coach of the University of Windsor Lancers, J.P. Churchelli, who, of course, is on the recruiting tail. That's coming up. You're watching OFC playoff action on We Digital Productions.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
We continue on with our halftime report here at Alumni Field. OFC playoff football action here on We Digital Productions. The Fratman leading the GTA Grizzlies 30-0 after first half action. Always great to talk football with this guy, the head coach of the University of Windsor Lancers, J.P. Churchelli, taking in the game tonight. And no doubt, Coach, working the recruiting trail here a little bit, right?
As much as we can. There's a lot of good players on both sides of the ball and on both teams that we're definitely interested, but obviously more so with the AKO guys.
Yeah, obviously, you've always talked about it. You made it very clear right from arriving here in Windsor, getting some of that hometown talent, some of that hometown flavor as part of your roster is absolutely of priority.
Yeah, a big part, especially looking at I look at the offensive side. There's a lot of explosive players for AKO, and at the end of the day, that's what you got to do to win games and win in Ontario. You need explosive players, and there's a number of them on both teams, but especially AKO that we're definitely be talking with or have been talking with at this point.
Let's give the recruiting conversation a break for a quick moment here, Coach. Talk about the Lancers. I'm sure you've had the exit meetings with some of the guys, coaching staff. Just a quick thought about the year, and I know you're already working at things, which is encouraging. That's great. But you know, how did that go for you? And do you anticipate, I guess, you know, even some changes next year?
I think there's going to be a lot of change just from the roster alone. I mean, guys are going to be moving on, and some guys might say, hey, this program's not for me. So we've got to bring in a large number of players, probably anywhere from 35 to 40 guys for next year's team, and we want to be able to carry close to 100 guys just because attrition always sets in. But based on the players that we have, we've got to develop better athletes. We've got to do a better job with that, and we've got to develop our coaching staff.
I guess when you talk about, you know, the player's job, your job, what did you learn this year? And of course, your first year as a head coach in CIS football. Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
But did you learn something yourself as the year went on?
Yeah, I think the big thing is it can't be all done at once. And a lot of people gave me that advice. And a lot of the places we've been, we've had quick turnarounds. And just knowing that this is a bigger task. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. We got to measure as much patience as we can when we take on these tasks. But knowing that it's getting the right people in the right spot, and I think the biggest part of developing relationships is what we've been trying to do, and that's going to pay off long term for us. So there's no quick way to turn things around. It's setting the ground early on and making sure we keep developing those relationships that we have, not with just our current players, but the community as well.
Let's get back to this junior program, or let's talk about this area. Of course, you just announced a prize recruit coming into the program, and this gets the ball rolling. The hope now, I'm sure, Coach, is that some other players may follow. Talk to me about the recruit that you're bringing in and where it can go.
Yeah, the big one is Devin Verisek, a defensive end out of Holy Names, and he definitely had some interest down south. And you know, we appreciate whenever players in this area have that, but we're very fortunate that he chose our school, and knowing that that's going to get a lot of the other local guys excited. And there'll be another big announcement tomorrow as well out of Herman.
Okay. Boy, we hate that, don't we? No, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. You know, after you get the local stuff done, where do you go with that then, Coach? I mean, I'm sure you're hitting the road anyways. You know, the GTA, Toronto area, obviously a lot of players there, and you know London's backyard so very well. How much do you explore into those areas?
Yeah, we think, you know, owning our own backyard is the biggest thing. That's where we've had success at other places. But the big one for us is making sure we get into London, and we had a big one in Lucas Hessel out of Catholic Central we announced the other day. We got to continue to do that because there's a lot of good programs in London. We also got to look into Hamilton, look into the Niagara region, and one that's obviously forgotten is the Sioux, because we have a quick drive to them compared to the other schools. So those are going to be areas we're going to really concentrate on, as well as that Brampton GTA area.
Isn't that what makes this great game so great, Coach? Is that right. 1 year finishes and boy, you go right away for the next year.
Yeah, it's tough when you think of it in finite details that the season starts and stops. In 2019, I think you'll be disappointed with some of maybe what your goals are, because for us it's infinite. It's going to be ongoing. It's a long process for these guys, and understanding that it's about building them for the next 40 years. So we got to keep continuing even when one season ends. It really continues with their education and with the whole recruiting process.
Always love talking football with you, Coach. Congrats on the recruits already. Continued success with that, and I know we're going to talk down the road, that's for sure.
We will. Right. Thank you very much.
Coach J.P. Cicchelli of the Windsor Lancers working hard here. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, second half action, OFC semifinal football playoff action on We Digital Productions.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front the Berg, the drive, the save. It's a nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Joseph stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes the right front pocket, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of OFC semifinals playoff action between the Windsor Fratmen and the GTA Grizzlies. 30-0 is your score after one half of play. Justin Prince alongside Vadik Waz as we get all set to start the second half. The Grizzlies set to return. They kicked it off to the Fratmen to start tonight's matchup. And they'll try and look to get their offense on the board. Sam Richardson boots it away. We're back underway for more football action from Windsor. Return for about the 15-20 yard line. Miles tries to cut forward, brought down around the 35-yard line. So the Grizzlies start the ball at decent field position. But D, your thoughts after that first half?
Well, I'm going to start by giving just a positive shout out to this Grizzly team. There is no quit in them. Short-staffed. They don't have a full complement of offensive linemen. As you see, you got numbers 11 in the offensive line force unit. It's not the biggest group up front. They're giving their all. Defensively, they are coming up. They forced some plays. They've turned the ball over. They've done some good things. But, I mean, at some point in time, the better team's going to come up ahead, and that is the Fratmen in this case.
Morrison hands it off for 1st and 10 on the ground. Mabalaja with just one of his couple carries today, his third total, I believe. But a flag is down on the field on the rush. Got a gain of maybe one before the flag.
So I didn't see a flag
like
dropped.
Pardon me there.
Yeah, so we're just going to go with the scrimmage play, and it's going to be 2nd down and 9.
2nd and 9, about a minute into the third quarter here in Windsor. 3 receivers on the field, 2 running backs. Morrison looking to throw. Finds his man but dropped. Intended that time for Isaiah Bonifant.
Oh, that was just a nice throw, a nice route, a nice opening, and he might have had some room to catch and run after that, and Bonifant is indeed going to be upset with himself on that. The young man is a defensive all-star, and he's coming in, he's playing both ways. He's trying to make plays for his team, and he just dropped one. Probably doesn't get a ton of reps at the receiver spot throughout the balance of the season, but he ran a good route there, and it was a good delivery of the ball in that instance.
Isaiah Bonifant, in terms of an all-star position, 18 tackles, 9 assisted tackles, 1 sack, 2 knockdowns, a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions on the defensive side of the ball in 2019 on the way to his second consecutive all-star nod. This one booted away. Bounces inside the traffic, picked up around the 49. No yards flag pulled on the field. Lewis cutting left, finding some space. Has a block, speeds forward, knocks down a man, brought down around the 10.
All right, so that flag's going to be moot because he obviously picked up more than the 5 yards on the bounce back rule. So we're going to see how this all shakes down, and I'm assuming the Fratmen are going to be and goal after all is said and done.
Again, today's referee, Alex Jemmy, Chris Patton, the umpire, Trevor Hayes, Bill Ganton, John Dotson, Gary Moore, and Bruce Carter round out the crew this evening.
Veteran crew.
No yards, bouncing ball on the kicking team. That's a 5-yard penalty. Add on, first down.
Yeah, you know what? There is that new rule. I keep slipping up my mind. It is an add-on to the end of the run on the 5-yard bounce back. I believe the 15-yard no-yarder, it's just you can take the existing play. I believe that's the interpretation of that, but it's new this year, so I think it's something that I got to just get a little used to as we see a 1st and goal.
1st and goal, ball placed at the 4-yard line. Allen back in the game. Allen throwing, finds his man, touchdown Fratman. Caught by Michael Ryan. It's now 36-0 pending the extra point.
Now, I'm going to be very picky here. Not that was a terrible throw, but when you have an opportunity to get live game reps, what I think you have to do if you're Colton Allen is you got to get that on his back shoulder. That's not a fade. That's a driving throw. So I think you got to get that to the outside just a little bit more because you're likely not going to get that kind of loose coverage against some of the better teams as we see the extra point coming up.
Richardson set for the extra point. Allen again to hold after the passing touchdown. Kick is up. And at an extra point, 37-0. Let's take a look at the CJFL Power Rankings coming into this weekend's matchups. 2 undefeated teams in the country. The Fratmen come in number 3, Beefeaters number 7.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned it in previous broadcasts. Saskatoon is the team to beat, will be the team to beat until somebody beats them.
Mm-hmm.
They are the premier team probably for the better part of the last 10 years and over the history. Sadly to say, my last game as a Fratman was against the Saskatoon Hilltops in the national championship that was played in Oshawa, and we were on the short end of that stick. Both of us were going into that game undefeated, and unfortunately we fell victim to the Hilltoppers, who are exceptionally talented. And until somebody knocks them off, they will remain at the top of that hill.
By the way, a quick score update from out of town in terms of some of those teams in the power rankings. The Hilltops did win their playoff matchup to go to the Prairie Conference Final. That was earlier on today, about 30 minutes ago was the finishing time. Return from about the 10-yard line by the Grizzlies, though. And again, a good return allowed by the Fratmen. That time was Mafuda on the return here, Badi.
Yeah. Again, that's a scary proposition. After this week, you're going up against the best of the best. You are going to be playing teams that are going to make you pay if you can't cover those kicks. Now, if you score enough times, it's not going to necessarily matter. They have 37 points, and if they score 3-4 more this half, they're going to get 4 more chances to cover kicks. But you do not want to play with fire that often.
After the return, the ball placed at the 32-yard line about 3 minutes into the second half. That one almost intercepted. A dangerous throw, batted away by Jalen Butcher.
Yeah, underthrown. I think he might have had the sort of slant, the higher post pattern available, and there was some miscommunication. I think if he would have thrown it more to the middle of the field, right on that Lancer shield, there would have been a chance for possibly a big play. But the young quarterback's been under siege most of the day, so you can't necessarily blame him to try to get rid of the ball early as possible.
Remember last time they were on the field offensively, a quick 2-and-out. Morrison looking to change that this time. Morrison throwing on the motion, batted away, incomplete. That time intended for Bonifant.
Yeah, they were going for the bigger play. We do have a flag on the field that was thrown immediately. I'm not sure if they lined up without an end on the line. It might have been a procedural call. So if that's the case, it's probably going to be declined.
Procedure on the offense, no end. That penalty's declined. Third down.
Yep, up at the top part of the field was where the flag popped out there. The fans continue to have smiles on their faces. Their team leads 37-0 still.
Yeah, I figured that was no end because I noticed that they had the tight end number 8 to the offensive left, and they had a slot receiver motioning towards the line on the top side of the screen. Again, probably a product of not having your regular starters here today with only 25 dressed.
They set up for the punt. Mafuda, this time good snap, good kick. Bounces around the 47. Lewis picks it up, no yards, flag thrown on the field. Cuts across center field, brought down at about the 48. And again, a no yards flag did pop up as the Fratman let the ball roll along that 47.
So I'm going to be interested to see if Coach LaChance goes series for series with Allen and Mayu, or he's going to just simply go with Allen for a full quarter. Here's the call.
No yards, bouncing ball, 5-yard penalty add-on against the kicking team.
So the no-yard
First down.
penalty moves it forward, but it looks like he's going with Allen for this upcoming drive after the passing touchdown last one.
What a luxury it is to have two quarterbacks, co-all-stars, both with skill sets that are similar yet unique enough that you can utilize them in a slightly different way, but keep the whole balance of your offensive playbook available.
1st and 10 at the 48. Staying on the ground this time, Windsor. Up the middle, brought down just around the 30-yard line.
And that's a new ball carrier. That's David Riem, who picked up big chunk yardage there, 24 yards or so. And that's going to set them up at the 30. You'll see here on the inside run, the offensive line just does a great job of turn-out block on that inside zone. And you see some of the linemen all the way down the field, that 68 and 69. That's Kyle Jennings and Paul Filion, who are leading the way well down the field.
As you mentioned, Riem there averaged 7.2 yards a carry, but only about 25 on the season. Throw on 1st and 10 to Lewis. Across the first down markers. Spins around players. Touchdown. Dante Lewis again finds pay dirt.
Yeah, see, that ends up going down as a touchdown pass, but really it was all run. Dante Lewis got the ball early. You did get some blocking from his receiving partners. He was asked to make one guy miss, and he did near the line of scrimmage. And beyond that, he's a shifty, talented receiver. This Fratman team has so many weapons, and you see the quick little throw. He's going to make one guy miss, and then he's got down-the-field blockers, and that allows him to get that head and burst of energy. And he is a talented ball carrier between him and Holmes, and we're going to see the extra point, but I'm just going to talk about the slew of athletes they have. You got Jared Hayes-Williams and you got Cody Holmes, who are all-stars, but you got Paintsel, who can catch and run. You got Ryan, who already scored a touchdown, or two. I think it's two already today. And then you have Dante Lewis, who is capable, plus two capable running backs, and that's not including they haven't really utilized Marcus Cooper in the offense this year, which they did in years past. And I still haven't mentioned Brandon McCraney. What a slew of offensive weapons Coach LaChance has at his disposal this year. I can't remember this many weapons. I'm pretty confident the 21 regular season touchdowns, and sorry, let's give our shout out to Harold.
Yeah, today's game presented by Harold Remark and Royal Page Rinder Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home or property. Contact Harold today by phone at 519-733-1028. Use current listings at RoyalPageBinder.com. Want to give a shout out to him as well once again, watching today's matchup from Ireland on vacation.
He might not answer if you call today, though, because he's in Ireland. So be patient, leave him the message, he'll get back to you.
Kickoff is off and away with about 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bounces to about the 5. Mafuta brought down, losing yards on the return at about the 1.
This time the coverage team was good, and I'm going to chalk that up to the fact that the ball was kicked outside the numbers. And I think that's always an advantage if they can really practice that pinning to a corner. Now you can get a little better. You take away almost half the field in the coverage, and maybe, just maybe, that's something they can practice leading in. I'm pretty confident in saying that we're going to see the Fratman host London next week at the score 44-0. But, I mean, that's something they need to concern themselves with moving forward if they're going to claim the conference championship and contend for a national championship.
We'll see what the play call is for the Grizzlies meanwhile. Ball inside their own 1-yard line. Pressure back from the Fratmen on 1st and 10. Looking to pass. Morrison forced to throw in the motion, throws it away. That time gets past the line of scrimmage, makes it 2nd and 10 at the 1.
Yeah, they see something. I don't know if they don't like rolling out to the defensive left. They keep going to the defensive right, which is the quarterback's off arm. It's to his left. There has not been much. One time I saw a drag underneath that I think he missed in the last possession. That's a difficult proposition for a quarterback to keep rolling out to his left when he doesn't have much time and he's not getting much separation from his receivers and the defensive backs.
2nd and 10 now. And this time pressure is coming. Multiple players break through. Flag is down.
Well, you're going to get a penalty here for illegal touching because the ball hit an offensive lineman right in the either back of the head or the jersey. They had a running back sort of squared away for maybe a little hook route, maybe picking up a few.
Unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer on the defense.
Oh.
15-yard penalty, 1st down. 44. Hit him under the chin.
Surprised me. I did not see that, but again, I didn't follow the rest of the play. I was watching the bouncing ball, Justin, off the offensive lineman. But it did hit an offensive lineman first, so I'm shocked there wasn't that at least consideration.
They say it looks like, I think they were signaling that he hit him under the chin.
Yeah, and they called 44 on that, and if I'm not correct, that's Matt Blair who they called for the infraction.
But the penalty, it gets the Grizzlies out of the shadows of the goalposts on the ground. Rush gets a gain of maybe half a yard to make it 2nd down. About halfway through this third quarter now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to run the clock. It's not applicable in this league. However, I know sometimes the coaches will agree to continue that clock moving forward. But with, like you said, about halfway through this quarter here, GTA would love to be able to at least take 4 or 5 minutes, move this across midfield. If they have to punt, at least punt from midfield. Get some positive vibes from their offense going.
Have something to build upon going into next season especially. 2nd and 5, 2nd and 9, on the ground again. Similar play as last time, rushing forward. Whistles drawn on a gain of a couple more. 3rd and about 7, maybe 8, or 6 rather coming up. Brings back out the special teams units once more. But again, you have to give credit to the Grizzlies here with the short roster. But again, they've had some positives today in terms of some of the offensive plays when they've been able to get completions, as well as the defense.
Yeah, I am impressed with the defense has made some plays. They've pressured the quarterback. they have some talent. Another bobbled snap. He is able to get a rugby-style kickoff, which turns into a pretty good kick, but you have Dante Lewis who in space, and there's a push in the back.
Flag.
Yeah.
Flag is up with the return for Lewis. Brought down around the 50-yard line, but again, the flag came out around the block at the opposing 15. It looks like this might come back.
Yeah, and that is Patrick. Can you help me with the last name? 38?
Patrick Dugain Chantha,
All
a
right.
former member of Catholic Central High School, was a Mr. Basketball, in fact.
Yeah, Patrick there, and I think he knew. He put his hands up. You can hit if you don't have
Illegal
it in front
block,
of his
push in
jersey.
the rear on the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
And here's the replay on that. You'll see the block just after the bounce from Lewis.
Coming into the screen right there. And that's an easy call. It wasn't a violent hit, so it's not an unnecessary roughness. It's a push in the back. You don't need to push him. He wasn't going to make the play. You actually pushed him closer to the ball carrier. So that means he wasn't even close enough to make the play. You have to have better discipline than that. That eye discipline has to be better. You better see the front of his jerseys next week.
Colton Allen still at quarterback. Readjusting the play as Paintsill now sets up in the slot move back out. Setting up on the ground for 1st and 10. Riem brought down for a gain of about 6. 2nd and 4.
Yeah, that's a nice run. And I'm proud to say, Justin, that both Nash Preer, the starting running back, and David Riem, the backup running back, they both played high school football for me at Essex High, and they both were running backs. Nash was the feature back for the most part, and David was the secondary back, but they both played defense as well. They were anchors on my team, and it's nice to see them come out here and perform and do well. I also have a couple other kids on the team as well from my high school. Matt O'Neill and Austin Stevens has played this year, so it's nice to see these kids mature and continue to play the game.
2nd and 3 as Allen throws, finds Hayes Williams. Enough for a 1st down and then some. Brought down inside Grizzlies territory.
More of that. Keep doing more of that. Those are the kind of plays that when you play the good teams are going to open up the big plays, because you're going to force them to come up and maybe jam a little bit more, get out of their zone coverages. They're going to have to respect the moving of the sticks. Keep doing that. I'd love to see them run 8 to 10 plays where they're getting no more than 8 or 9 yards and march it down without having to throw one over the top here.
Similar play set to the first play of the drive. Allen drops the snap this time, though. Scrambles on the right side, incomplete. Makes it 2nd and 10.
Maybe our replay will give us a chance to see if Colton Allen took his eye off it, because it looked like it was a good enough snap that he should have handled. Yeah, he bobbled it. My rule of thumb for shotgun snaps is waist to face. That's what I'll tell any center. You have to hit the quarterback from waist to face, because that will give him the opportunity to still keep the awareness of any and everything the defense is doing. That was indeed in that waist to face range, and he just mishandled that.
In the end, he ended up hitting one of the coaching staff members along the sideline trying to find the throw. On 2nd down, Riem pushes forward, gets an air gain of about 7 or maybe 6.
So maybe an interesting situation without necessarily thinking about losing right now. This is now a down and distance that you want to practice. So I think it's a good decision to go for it here. I don't think they're trying to necessarily run the score up, but they have some tough competition coming up, so they got to get these down and distance. Forget that it's 3rd. It's just this 5-yard play.
3 in the motion. Multiple flags up in the play. And it looks like this might be coming back maybe.
Well, it looked like there was 3 defenders across the line of scrimmage. We'll see if that was indeed the case to give them an automatic 1st down, which is, again, part of the gamesmanship of practicing that.
Here's the call.
Offside. Defense, that's a 5-yard penalty. Results in a 1st down.
You're right on that, the offsides for the 3 players. And now that gives them a 1st down instead of a 3rd down.
And that is another, it's a session of practice. Like, you went on a hard count. and your entire team had the discipline to stay onside, and you got a free one. I can't tell you how many times I've watched football games at every level where a play like that ends up putting you in victory formation.
Now with under 4 minutes to go, the Fratmen keeping the drive nice and slow. Ball placed at the 42-yard line after the penalty. Allen looking to his left, trying to throw over the top into double coverage, intercepted. Second INT of the day for Allen. Mafuda off to the races, pushed out of bounds inside the 40.
And no quit, Justin. The Grizzlies they're just fighting, and Mafuda's been on offense, defense, special teams, doing everything he has to do. He fought off the outside coverage there because he's the far corner and realized this ball is not going to the outside, and he came back and helped his partner out as they were trying to hit Dante Lewis in the slot. And great return as well, setting them up at the 40-yard line. And he has all his teammates going down the field trying to spring him all the way to the end zone. Kudos to them to keep playing. It is tough. It is not easy when you're going up against a very, very good football team and you're shorthanded. So I will give them all the credit in the world as this game starts to wind down with, about 18 minutes in total left.
The Grizzlies have the ball placed at the 40-yard line after the interception returned by Mafuda. Whistles popping up on the field. Looks like they might have been at the edge of their play clock. Remember, 20-second play clock for these teams. Kept track of by the officials. They used their first time out of the half.
Yeah, I think they're just as winded as they are anything else. So maybe they just wanted to get them rest.
Next weekend, Saints Volleyball returns on We Digital Productions as the St. Clair Saints take on the Cambrian Golden Shield for the start of their home schedule for the OCAA season. Ladies take to the court at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, men at 4 p.m. Be sure to tune in once again on We Digital Productions. As well, the St. Clair Saints' basketball teams head back at home in a couple weeks on Saturday, November the 16th. After a couple-week road trip, they start with the ladies at 4 p.m., the men at 6 p.m. Eastern, and a back-to-back series with the Sault College Cougars. Once again, you can see that on We Digital Productions. Saints starting the season this past Friday and Saturday with a 2-0 start for both the women's and men's teams. After the timeout, the Grizzlies still have the ball at the 40-yard line with 3:04 to go in quarter number 3. Morrison sets up with 2 backs to his sides. 2 receivers in the motion. Looking to throw again. Throws it to the outside, incomplete, intended for Mafuda.
Yeah, miscommunication because Mafuda kept going on the go, and it looked like the quarterback opted to throw that. So that was Morrison through more of the stop, and there was clear miscommunication as now they're going to bring up second and long.
Second down coming up, and currently they are still being shut out by this defense led by the All-Stars of Jordan Krug, Blake Olette, along with Dante Fornaserio for this Fratman side. Sun now completely behind the treetops here at Windsor. Morrison, quick throw to the ground, incomplete.
Yeah, immediate pressure, Justin. He had really no chance as Josh Allen came through that B gap right to his throwing lane because he was looking right the entire way, and he had to get rid of that ball awfully quick. And I suspect the Grizzlies are going to go for it here. This has been the best field position they've had all game long. Well, I stand corrected. Maybe do they have a field goal unit or are they punting? It looks like they're lining up for punt formation.
So it looks like they're not going to try and take advantage of the field position. They're going to have Mafuda punted away here from the 40-yard line. He's already set back around center field here with 1 return man back for the Fratmen. Mafuda boots it away from the 52. Into a crowd of players. Lewis watches it bounce back. Has to take it back out. Does. Keeps it away from the single. Turns back. Cuts forward. Gets across the 10. Ball was stripped away. But the Fratmen jump back on top of it.
I'm not sure if he lost it, Justin. I think he spun.
Yeah.
But the ball did break the plane of the goal line on that punt, so I believe it's just going to go all the way out to the 20. So they're going to choose to, it looks like, move it to the left hash, but it is going to be at the 20. Another unique rule to the Canadian Football League: missed field goal or a punt that carries into the end zone. As long as you break the goal line and you don't get past the 20, the ball will advance to the 20.
Under 2 minutes to go, as Allen still allowed to stay in the game after his second interception of the night on his last drive. Hands it back off to Prier. Prier enough for the first. Lots of space. Cuts across center field. Has one man to beat. Mafuta knocks him out of bounds on a lone rush inside the 40.
Yeah, and that is 35, 45, about 60 yards on the run. So he had a head of steam. He did not get touched until that point after 15 yards, and then he just ran with vision, and he got his eyes turned to the outside, and he used some of his blockers and decided he wanted to use some speed there. And you hear some of the fans calling for a stiff arm. They've changed the rule. You can't violently hit the head of any player, even on a stiff arm. But that was one push, and it wasn't prolonged, so that was a justifiable no call there in my assessment.
If I'm adding this up right, about 52 yards, believe, on the rush, as Riem goes to the ground on 1st and 10 this time. Riem scrambles forward, brought down for an effort first, but an air flag is down about 5 yards back of the tackle.
Yeah, we're likely going to get a hold here. I wasn't sure if it was Paintsill, somebody on the edge. It could very well have been number 64, Mike McLaughlin. Somebody set that edge, and it looked like a jersey was grabbed.
Holding on the offense before yards gained. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down. Number 11.
So that's going to move the ball back 10 yards for 1st and 20 with 50 seconds left to go in this third quarter here.
And you saw Alex Jemmy shoot 2 fingers, 1 and 1, and that was number 11. It was indeed Paintsill. It's what I initially thought, and it is indeed the case. So it's going to bring up that 1st and 20.
Allen sets up way back in the shotgun, moves back forward. Riem still the back. Setting up on the 1st and 20. Looking to pass. Scrambles to the right. Gets more blocks. Finds a lot of space. Tries to push forward. Brought down and marked down around the 36, pardon. That's enough for the first.
And Wisely got out of bounds. He does not need to take a hit here. So you don't need to fight for the extra yardage for the first down. So he looks, he comes right off his first read, nothing there, and he says, well, I have green grass, so I'm going to pick up what I can. So you get a 14-yard run. It's second down and 6 here. And the most important thing is he didn't get hit.
They respawn the ball at the 34-yard line, but that is indeed important. You don't want to have your quarterback take a dangerous hit. Allen audibling here on 2nd and 6. Last play of the third quarter. Hands it off to Riem, trapped in the backfield.
Yeah, and that looked like it was 59, Rafael Ferraro on the tackle there as he linebacker knifed through.
And that's going to end off the third quarter. After 3 quarters of play, the Fratman lead 44-0 in the OFC semifinals. More football action coming up after these quick messages.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario, as the Fratmen start off the 3rd and 10 situation with a bouncing ball. And that's not how you want to go for it on 3rd down. That's going to go the other way.
So I'm not sure if it was Colton Allen or Brandon McCraney went the wrong way. They were trying to run a pitch. One of them went the wrong way. And then Colton Allen looked to scramble, realized he was going to get hit, threw it backwards on a bullet to McCraney. McCraney couldn't handle the ball, so he scrambled back. And it wasn't until David Riem jumped on the ball at the 50, even though he secured possession. It was 3rd down, so they've just set up the Grizzlies in great field position. That's not what Coach LaChance wants to see at this point in time. Not only did your quarterback still get hit, but just a sloppy play. The execution there was very, very poor.
Especially if you are thinking ahead and saying, okay, we need to make sure our fundamentals are ready for, say, the finals against London next weekend.
100% correct.
About a minute into the 4th quarter here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prinzel onside Badi Quaz as that pass is thrown to assistant coach's foot for 2nd down. That time I think it went actually directly to Mike Morency. Today's game is presented by Nonus Athletic Incorporated. Since 1946, Nonus has been Windsor's sporting equipment specialist. Their knowledgeable and experienced football experts will fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom at 2020 Tecumseh Road West or call 519-252-5705 to find the perfect equipment for you and your sports. 2nd down and 10 already, burning our way through about 90 seconds of play clock in this 4th quarter as Morrison, incomplete. Try to find a sliding receiver. Instead now gets 3rd down. We'll see if they go for it or just take the 2 and out.
Yeah, it's hard for Malachi to keep doing what he's doing. He's getting pressured, happy feet. He tries to stay in and deliver a pass to no avail. Punt, pin him deep. I don't mind the coach for the Grizzlies staying with his game plan. You know, Coach Mark Holder is just continually trying to do the right thing, and his players aren't quitting on him. So that is a great job by the coach, because it's not easy to come down against a Goliath like this and keep your poise and keep these guys engaged to keep doing what they're doing.
Mafuta back to punt again. This time feels a bit of pressure, gets it away regardless. Bounced around the 20, picked up by Lewis. Gets some blocks on the left side. Pushing across the 30, jukes across the 35. Streaks across the 45, brought down for a strong return at about the 47. And Dante Lewis gives the Fratmen some good field position once again, but just about 12 minutes away in closing down, 12 minutes and 40 seconds away from another OFC final. First and 10 as Allen stays in the ball game at the 48.
Yeah, Justin, we're definitely going to get the grudge match. Each team has won, defeated each other in the regular season. Now we'll see who's going to come out victorious in the conference final.
Flag up from multiple angles as Riem pushes across the 40. And flags are popping up all over the place just as the snap went off on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive end as Riem streaked across the 1st down chains.
Yeah, those flags came out right away. Oftentimes that means there's too many men. I'm going to quickly count here. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 men on the defense. So that is clearly an
illegal substitution, 13 men on the defense. Holding on the offense. Those penalties offset, 1st down.
Yeah, so we had offsetting penalties, but once that flag from the back judge comes up immediately, that tells me that there was going to be too many men on the field, which was indeed the case, and that was Bruce Carter who did indeed throw it in. They're counting right now, And if a referee looks at each other from sideline to sideline and touches the bill of their cap, then they've counted correctly and they know who's on the field and what numbers there are.
This time there is 12 players, it seems, on the field. Allen going to throw now after the offset penalties. Throws quickly, finds McCraney. Pushes across the 40, breaks the tackle. Juking around still. Gets a block. Around the sideline, dances out of bounds inside the 15.
And we're going to have a roughing the passer as well here. I'm pretty sure Colton Allen took a pretty big lick, but we'll see if that is indeed the case. I'm just waiting to see the referee's reaction, if they're going to wave people back. But you can just see that, and that was McCraney, who's had a quiet day. You see how electric he is. You'll see here on the replay, Colton Allen's going to scramble out to his right, stay behind the line of scrimmage, wait, deliver it, and there was a hit. So, and then there goes McCraney, and he's so strong, and he keeps his balance, and
There is no penalty on the play. The quarterback was behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay, so now Alex Jemmy the flag was initially thrown because they thought maybe the quarterback was ahead of the line of scrimmage. And they conversed, and they came to the conclusion that he wasn't, which our replay clearly showed he was behind the line of scrimmage. So the play stands as such, a 50-some-odd yard completion to McCraney, and now the Fratmen are set up at the 15.
Inside the red zone, once again, Windsor approaching a third of the way through quarter number 4. Allen with 3 receivers in the motion, looking to pass, going corner end zone, finds his man, caught, touchdown. This time Nathaniel Norton with the reception, and it's now 50-0.
Yeah, Nathaniel Norton, the coach, his son, Stacy Norton, who coaches for this very Fratman team, was able to haul in that. Just a go route, and Colton Allen found him in the back left corner of that end zone to extend the lead to 50-0. And that was a nice catch as we about to see that convert, Justin.
Just 1 reception in the regular season before tonight's postseason game, by the way, for 18 yards. That's his first TD in 2019 postseason or regular season. Richardson, extra point is up and good. 51-0 is your score. Let's take a look at some of those OFC All-Stars we've been talking about again. The All-Stars in this matchup, as mentioned, Jordan Krug on the defensive line for Windsor, as well as Dante Fornaciero in the DBs. Isaiah Bonifant for the GTA side in that All-Star nod as well. Linebacker Blake Olet for Windsor. Scratch today, the punter and kicker of Gagnon Baines also has been one of the best punters, kickers in 2019 in this league.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little surprised that there weren't more defensive players for the Fratmen. Elijah Blythe has had a rock-solid season. Little surprised. Even Jalen Butcher, I thought, had a pretty good season in the back end. Very opportunistic. But with 6 teams in the league, I know you can't just have them all from one team. But the better teams are usually heavily represented. They do have a couple offensive linemen. I know we were showing the defensive all-stars there. I'm sure we'll get that offensive all-star list soon. But a little surprised the defense didn't have at least one other player.
Kicked off and away by Richardson. Once again, returned back by the Grizzlies. Miles spinning around the 20. Able to break through some of the tackles. Gets an extra 6 yards on the return. 10:48 to go in this fourth quarter here, Badi.
Yep, so now you're thinking London. You're thinking we have to make sure we get different bodies on the field. We have to make sure that now one player is not more important than others. You have a dress roster. You don't always have a backup for everybody. But there are certain vital, versatile players that you have to make sure you protect at this point in time. Get them off the field. Shutout be damned. You're not worried about. There's no stat. They don't keep points for, points against in the playoffs. There's only one stat that matters, and that's the win or the loss. So you have the win in the bag right now. So you want to make sure that you get certain players off the field, especially if they're nursing an injury, because you're going to need all hands on deck against London next week.
I agree with you on that one. 1st and 10 at the 27. Morrison, quick throw complete. Brought down quickly by a gain of tacklers, blows the play dead on a gain of maybe 2 or 3. And of course, London having a stellar season with a very dynamic back in Tazzy Vainbell that can also be a threat in the receiving game. A couple quarterbacks that have made some good throws in the game, and a lot of players defensively that can stand out.
Yeah, they match up. They're big, they're fast, they're strong, they have receivers, they can throw. So it's a matchup. It is two genuine heavyweights, and they already beat each other. So we'll see what's going to happen in that grudge match.
2nd down and 7. This one batted away, incomplete. Now 2 and out for GTA. So the shuttle continues with about 9:20 to go in the 4th quarter and closing.
Yeah, and they're going to bring the punt team out again, and that was Anthony Garibin coverage there. Did a nice job. They brought heat from the corner, from the slot, and that was the halfback who came off the left edge of the defense. So you had a linebacker who had to expand out, and he did a nice job defending the ball. And there we see the back of his jersey as we span back to our full field coverage.
Mm-hmm. Once again, back to Puntis Mafuda, who has been very busy today. Started up and down in the punt game, but has been having a strong second half in punting, really since the 2nd quarter, I should rather say.
Yeah, but he also ran for a couple first downs on fakes, so.
Punts this one away for about to the 40-yard line, returned by Lewis. Flag is down on some of the blocks as Lewis cuts across the 40. Streaks his way to about the 32-yard line, but again, a flag again is down with the blocks at center field.
Yeah, I didn't see any push from the rears there, but I think they might have caught a Fratman defender or return man holding a blocker. So we'll see the official call coming forward here. Yeah, and the flag is set at around the 52-yard line. And the referee is holding his spot at around the 47. So if we get the hold, it's going to be 10 yards back from the spot.
Holding on the return. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So we'll see here on the return, on the replay. A good kick, decent kick, nicely caught in the air by Dante Lewis. And we'll see in the second, I think we're going to have it. It's just to the middle of the field. There was a hold, just a little bit outside of our viewing lane there. Good return, though, by Dante Lewis. He's a talented player, one of many.
Ball placed to the 53 for 1st and 10. Riem back on the ground. Nearly lost the ball. Still holds on, though, for a gain of about 5.
Yeah, it slid for sure, but he did secure it. And you see, I guarantee you that was Coach McCurdy who told him, hey, give him a big target. Let him put it in there and keep 2 hands on the ball as you breach that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and it looked like that time that P.S. Adarkwall was able to nearly swat that ball out of his breadbasket. 2nd and 5 after the rush. Puts the ball back inside Grizzlies territory. Allen looking to throw. Brought down for the sack.
You just do not like when a bigger body's landed on your quarterback. That's not what you want to see. I'm a little shocked we haven't seen Daniel Mayu in the second half at all, unless he is indeed nursing some sort of injury. But if they're going to throw the ball, they better throw it quick.
3rd and 7. Special teams units back out with 7:28 to go in this 4th quarter. Action continues on as Bondi punts it away.
And as this punt does sail out of bounds, we can give you a quick little update. Nothing definitive yet, but it looks like, Justin, that we're going to have a conference final here in Windsor next Saturday night at 7 or 7:30, pending league approval, of course, because the league has to communicate with both organizations. They have to make sure that all the travel arrangements are set, and they have to make sure that it is doable and facilities and everything else along those lines. But our tentative schedule is going to be here, and I'm assuming you and I are going to be on that call next Saturday, trying to see who wins that grudge match, the 401 grudge match between London, who has to travel down to Southwestern, the southernmost western place relative to London, and come down to Windsor and contest for the OFC championship.
51-0 your score with 7 minutes to go. And the Fratmen well on their way to an OFC Finals appearance once again. Morrison looking to build some positives for the end of the Grizzlies season here. Looking on the run this time. On the left side, brought down in the backfield for a loss of a few.
And right now, at this point, the clock seems like it's just going so slow. These Grizzly players must be exhausted. This isn't high school football anymore where you can play both ways and it's 12-minute quarters. These are 15-minute quarters with the stop clock that comes into play, and that's a lot of minutes to be logging on the field for some of these guys. So it is going to be a long bus ride home for these guys. They're going to need some ice, and they're going to need some medical attention. We do have a player down, and again, it could just be one of those situations where he's just completely exhausted.
Let's take a look at the offensive all-stars as he's brought to the sideline. As you can see, Kyle Jennings and Corey Levesque, a part of the offensive line, the all-stars this season. Receivers, Cody Holmes, Jared Hayes-Williams, as well as Harley Mafuda in this matchup. Plus, you have the two cornerbacks, as mentioned, of Allen and Mayu, who have been splitting time for the past 2 years now here in Windsor, and the place kicker of Gagnon Baines. And don't forget, the coach of the year this season, Mike LaChance.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure that anyone expected AKO to be at the top. I'm not surprised, but they thought Hamilton returning a lot of people and London coming off a couple good years in a row. But Windsor good on Coach LaChance to get these guys ready to come back at it.
2nd and 12, pressure trying to break through. Morrison breaks across the line of scrimmage, but not enough for the first.
Yeah, we do have a Fratman down right now, and we're going to just try to see if we can get this number. And that's number 52, and that's Josh Allen, one of their starting linebackers. And he got flipped head over toes because you'll see here on the replay, the block from the running back turned him up, and he landed squarely on his back and on his hip. Clean block, and you put yourself in a vulnerable position when you jump. So Josh Allen, you're up by 51. Please don't jump. Keep your feet on the ground. Keep your balance in those spikes firmly in the turf so that way you can protect yourself. A batted ball is not as important as your health going into that conference final.
And he talked about subbing defensive players out. A lot of the stars are still in. They're going to cause pressure after a botched return on the punt. Mafuda able to get it away. Lewis returns it from the 40. Cutting across the left side of the field still. Across center field. Brought down around the 50 as the whistles blow.
Well, what a great job by Mafuda, who the ball must have a little dew on it, or it must be a little slick, because he mishandled it as he was about to drop it for the punt. And you'll see here, he's about to drop it, and then he realizes, ooh, I got to put the pause on. He scrambles to his left and still manages to get a boomer off. We do have a flag on the field, so we're going to have to find out what's going on. But Dante Lewis does what he's been doing very well, and that's creating some space with his speed. And he's been returning these well as he crosses midfield and gets to the 50-yard line of the positive. And here's the call.
Offside. Defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Wow.
So they're going to wash the punt off the board. And they're going to, looks like, either line up for a punt again, or they're bringing their offense back on the field. No, it looks like they're going to punt again.
Yeah, that's what they're doing here. 3rd and 4 is now the play at the 35. With under 5 minutes to go, it's still a dangerous play regardless of the amount of time to not punt at this kind of field position.
Yeah, well, danger isn't the issue right now. They're down by 51, so they're just, like for me, maybe you keep your offense on to see if you can
Timeout.
Just get that goose egg
Offense.
off that board.
And timeout called, as it looks like that will be the last for the Grizzlies in this half.
And in this season.
After a 4-2 win over the London Knights on Friday, the Windsor Spitfires will be back at home on October the 24th as they face off against the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. For tickets, go to windsorspitfires.com or visit the WFCU Center box office. And with the timeout, it looks like Coach Holder discussing things with the rest of his team. Again, a hard-fought fight with them, making the trip today for the semifinal matchup, being shorthanded, but in the end here, just a massive score differential. The next broadcast, again, time to be announced, currently for the OFC finals between the London Beefeaters and the Windsor Fratmen. Keep an eye on social media, including the We Digital Productions Facebook page, to keep an eye on when that start time is confirmed to be, about, as mentioned by Badiquas, about 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time is the tentative moment, but that is still pending league approval.
Yeah, so just simply go online. We all have these things called smartphones. I think they're making us dumber, but we have these smartphones. Check WeDigital.ca. Go online for the most up-to-date information, and you can check some of the social media platforms as well. All that information will be posted and made available as soon as possible. But you can expect us to be on the call. Justin, I'll tell you, we don't need social media to do that. It's going to be Justin, Prince, and myself. We're going to come here and call hopefully a great game.
I'm expecting it to be a great game because both of those two teams, when they've met each other both times, it seems like the offense puts on an absolute show.
Yeah, and I'll say this, though. It's been punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch. No team has really created that full-out separation. It was punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch. So I expect a lot of that next Saturday night.
1st and 10, meanwhile, for the Fratmen at the 48-yard line. 4 minutes to go. Allen hands it off. Moving forward, brought down just past center field. And that is Samuel Tushani. We haven't seen much of him this season.
No, and at this point in time, maybe just get some confidence runs. You never know if an injury comes in and you're elevated from second to first, third to second. Looks like he's just a fraction short, which is indeed the indication. But good 9-yard run, and that's something that I think will bode well for the Fratmen going into the final. If they can run the ball successfully, trust me, those talented perimeter players will make you pay because you'll get man coverage.
2nd and 1, 5 receivers on the field. Gianni still the running back. Allen trying to burn as much clock as he can. To the ground once again. Enough for a first down and then some. A 10-plus yard rush gets them inside the 40.
That's going to bring up the 3-minute warning, so we'll get those whistles coming in with the Fratmen with 2 timeouts. I'm assuming they're not going to need to use them coming forward, but if they can keep 4 or 5 plays on the ground here, one more first down, I'm sure will likely get it to the point where they can line up and take a knee if they choose to exercise that option.
You hear the whistles blowing in the backdrop. That signals we're inside that 3-minute warning. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line after the run. Gianni still the running back. Last of the substitutions come to the sideline for the Grizzlies. 5-6 players inside the box on 1st and 10. Gianni takes it slowly, brought down for a loss of a couple. 2nd down and long coming up.
The one thing I will say that I like between the demeanor of both these teams throughout the balance of the game, there hasn't been any chippiness, any real chirping. I think the Fratmen understand that the Grizzlies were shorthanded, and the Grizzlies understand that the Fratmen just have more talent at this point in the season with a full roster. So there hasn't been any pushing or shoving. There hasn't been any objectionable conduct type penalties. So that's good to see, especially when you know one team is better than the other.
Indeed. 3 yards was lost to the last play. This time they go to the air and gain a few of those back. Brought down to the 35-yard line, the reception by Dylan Samuels. And third down coming up inside 2 minutes to go here as the Fratmen, well on the way, as mentioned, to an OFC Finals appearance again.
Yeah, and it's since probably the mid-1990s, you're looking at the premier organization. They've played in so many finals. There's no question Windsor is right there with many, and I know they pulled in the national championship in '99. As Colton Allen throws one last time to a backup receiver, trying to get him involved in the play. That looked like it was number 83, Eric Toth. But to no avail, it goes incomplete, and it's going to bring out the defense for the last minute and a half.
Minute 36 to go, to be precise, on the clock here. And what is looking like a 51-0 finish in this semifinals matchup. Today's game has been presented by The Barber's Chair. For over 2 decades, The Barber's Chair team consists of experienced professional barbers ready to provide you with that perfect cut you've been looking for. Walk-ins are always welcome, or you can contact us today at www.barberschairwindsor.com to book your appointment. 1st and 10 as the clock is moving, and we're approaching a minute to go in this OFC semifinals matchup. The previous 3+ seasons, it had been Windsor and Hamilton in the OFC final. This year, a different story. No yards gained on the 1st and 10, but Windsor all set to take on London in a 4-on-1 rivalry matchup to determine the OFC championship. 56 seconds left in closing.
It's only fitting that the teams that split the regular season victories are the ones that meet in the OFC final.
2 of the best teams all season. And now it's going to be curious to see what happens come this weekend's matchup. 30 seconds to go. Grizzlies set up with 2 backs on the field, 3 receivers. Morrison looks to throw one more time. Bounces off the defender's hands, nearly intercepted, incomplete. Jackson Roundtree that time in coverage. And the clock was around 14 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Looks like they will just let it roll out here as the Windsor Fratmen will get ready as one more snap is all set to go on this field.
That was an interesting little effort, and Alex Jemmy's going to blow this thing dead after checking with the GTA coaches. They're just going to call this down, and the referees are shaking hands with some of the players. Justin, thanks a lot. I guess we got one more of these.
Yes, indeed. The Windsor Fratmen are off to the OFC Finals. 51-0 is your final. Post-game coverage is coming up in just a few moments with Dominic Papa. Stay tuned. You're watching We Digital Productions from Alumni Field in Windsor, Ontario.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Up front, the Berman drive, the save.
your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglioni Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back to Alumni Field, our post-game report. The Windsor Achill Fratman advanced to the OFC Championship game next Saturday against the London Beefeaters. They defeat the GTA Grizzlies here 51-0. Head coach Mike Lachance joins us. Coach, congrats on the win. Kind of an expected victory, but just the same, I know you're a little worried about this game because these guys play tough.
Yeah, they've got some tremendous athletes. Harvey Muafata is unbelievable. You see him show up on offense, defense, special teams. He's a tough guy to handle. So you never know, right, when you play an athletic team. But we did what we were supposed to do. We won the game. I don't know if we played very well, but we won the game. And I think some of our guys' heads were out to next week already. So.
Yeah, and that was the fear here. Kind of a little bit of a trap game. Coach Morency talked about it at halftime. Your approach this week, did the guys execute the way you had hoped?
No, not really. I don't think we executed at all. I thought both quarterbacks were tentative today. They weren't trusting their first reads. Defensively, they did some different things on us. They rolled coverage over different than other teams have done. So live and learn. I mean, we still scored 51, so we did some good things too. Kids played hard, but I don't think we executed as well as we should have.
Is there anything in this game here, Coach, that you can take into next week?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any carryover on the season or today. It's just going to be winner take all next week. It'll be a battle. We respect London. They have a good team.
Yeah, we can talk about this game now because it's reality, of course. And you've met twice this season. Each team has beaten each other, so this is kind of like the best 2 out of 3 game right here. This is the rubber match. Obviously, the preparation this week is going to be of paramount importance.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, they do some things different defensively with their coverages. They have a couple blitz packages that give us trouble. And offensively, they got a couple huge playmakers. Vang Bell is one of the best in the league. He's quick as lightning out there, and he gives us trouble. Both their quarterbacks, they're similar to us, where they have 2 quarterbacks that are capable. They're a well-coached team. They're a big team. They're much bigger than us physically. So it might be a size versus speed type of matchup because I think we're faster than anybody.
And of course, you went to the game against Hamilton yesterday. Did you see anything different in London at all?
I thought they called the game a little tentative. It looked like they didn't want to make a lot of mistakes, and I don't know if that was part of their game plan or just the way it looked. But I think they'll come out a little more free and open versus us. They know they have to.
All right. How good does it feel to get back to the championship?
Well, it's expected now, right? That's where we want to be. It'll feel good if we win the championship, but getting there is not quite enough.
All right. Well, congrats on getting there, at least to the game, Coach, and we'll talk next week.
Appreciate it.
Head Coach Mike Lachance doing a great job, as always, with his club. They win here tonight 51-0, and again, advance to the OFC Championship game. So this sets it up against the London Beefeaters. Right now, tentatively, I can tell you the game is scheduled for next Saturday. It looks like it's going to be an evening contest. Check out the We Digital page. Of course, check out the Fratman or the OFC page as well. They'll have all the information, I'm sure, within the next 24 hours. And you can expect, of course, to watch that game right here on We Digital Productions. So that's the story here tonight. The Fratman advance to the OFC Championship. They win 51-0 over GTA. On behalf of Justin Prince, Badia Quast, the outstanding crew working behind the scenes here at We Digital Productions, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.